he's
really
cool,
nice guys. He seemed really down to earth.
Everybody, we are here to look at more scripts, and I'm glad that John Lamont got to meet Michael Rooker, or was he just at your con?
Are you sure that wasn't Mickey Rooney?
Mickey Rooney, but he's dead.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Is Michael Rooker playing Mickey Rooney? There we go. Yeah.
I would pay good money to see that.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, I had to wait a whole week. What happened after Viviac snarled? But Viviac snarled.
Are we sure you don't want to read Draco's script first? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm up for Draco's script.
Oh, I'm just joking.
Are you? Have you read Draco's script? Are you suggesting we're going to need the palate cleanser?
No.
Or do you think Draco's script is going to be the palate cleanser? Because I promise you it won't be.
I mean, I did one. I gotta say, Draco he's active in my Discord.
Yeah, I
appreciate that. And this, I feel like I should congratulate him this week. He posted a producer guide out. He had IMDb, had a bunch of credits, and he's like,
"Yeah,
this guy came to my job, and it's like, I want to get this done." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Do you have a script to send to him?"
He's got an idea for a script.
He's got an idea for a script. Okay.
And he thinks that storyboards are going to be the best thing to go with that idea for the script.
Right. Well, I mean, Diane will be here in a minute. She's finishing dinner.
But she's pretty cheap. Like what, 15, 20K for storyboards?
I mean, she did, on the feature, and that was cool. I mean, certainly we could scale it down if you just want 10 or 20 pages, but it's like, what is she supposed to draw storyboards on if you don't have a script?
Ideas, yeah,
right, yeah, ideas. I think you're kind of over in the Rutger camp. Well, you go, okay, I want the serial twins. One of them's holding a broken gavel, one of them's holding a teddy bear, and in the back is Big Ben or something. All right, it's just an idea. It's got pizzazz, but I
mean, does it though?
I don't know. Well, Draco's very epic. It's very there's gonna be some deafening silence.
No,
you know what? That should be the title.
Draw so many flickering lights.
I want to see deafened by silence.
Deafening silence.
And didn't what's his name? He's apparently very popular on the internet with his sequel to La Vigilante that I had no idea was even finished in the first place. We just 10 pages of it over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
Apparently it's done, and there's a sequel that's doing well on a webtoon platform.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Great.
Also, when did that happen?
I don't know. That's part of why I like encouraging other people to succeed.
Yeah.
Sometimes they succeed in ways I'm like, oh, I need to do that or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
All right. Larry, this is page 21. What happened in the first 20?
Okay. We had the Viviax has captured Gatsby. She's probing his mind.
Oh yeah.
There was a flashback. I added I added a couple more pages in there. So you'll have a few repeats here at the beginning, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
who do you want to narrate?
Oh, let's go with Danny.
Danny.
Yeah.
Page 21, panel 1, close up. Viviac snarls in rage, her eyes bursting with red energy.
We lose Preston.
We usually need to have a script.
I started it. Yeah.
Improvise.
Well, if you can make a movie,
oh my god,
you can read a script without a script.
That's right.
Give Viviac line, John. Do it.
I don't know why I accidentally exited right there.
Oh no. Okay.
At least you didn't accidentally hit end stream.
Yeah.
This mouse has a lot of buttons on it, and I accidentally hit one of those minor buttons.
We got a fancy mouse. Yeah.
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 I blame Diane.
Yeah.
All right. Panel 2. Did we go through here, or do we
No,
have
we
Eric?
still
No,
have
we literally just
dialogue
started.
from panel 1.
We lost the
Yeah.
script.
And
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and pull the script back up. Present. Well, I did a cool reading of it, but no one heard me.
Oh.
Well, here we go.
All
The
right.
only thing I'm going to drive is my foot into that irritating mouth of yours.
There we go. Yeah.
Panel 2, medium shot. Eric sternly grips his hand on Viviax's shoulder, trying to calm her hostility.
Did you miss the part where he said he was going to tell us what we want?
See, you know, I don't know why, but I knew Robert was going to read that line. I don't know why. I'm like,
because Robert, like me, has the good sense to get a character that probably isn't terrible to play early. With something that's underwritten or terribly overwritten late. He's read enough scripts to know better. I'm calling.
Yeah.
Panel 3, medium shot. Viviax snarls at Eric, swatting his hand off of her.
That's the type of stupidity that gets you put in the back seat for the rest of the trip.
Panel 4, close up. Gatsby appears directly beside Viviax, whispering closely into her ear.
It's John. You can go.
Go, John.
Go, John.
Now John is stuck with Gatsby.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted his voice unrestricted. Good advice.
Page 22, panel 1. Medium shot. Viviax swipes her claws towards Gatsby's position, but hits nothing but air.
Enough!
Panel 2, medium shot. Gatsby appears directly behind Viviax again. He laughs and shrugs as pure rage paints her face.
You know, a definition of insanity is repeating the same action, expecting different results.
Panel 3, close up. Viviax swings back to strike at Gatsby again, putting all her force and speed into the strike.
Fuck you.
Panel 4, wide shot. Instead of hitting the air this time,
I needed to go more Martin Landau or whatever.
Yeah, fuck you.
You get down here. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey, Diane.
Hi.
Hey.
Eric clocks Viviax in the jaw, sending her flying backward off her feet.
Shut up and listen, bitch.
There you go.
Page 23, panel 1, medium shot. Viviax jumps back up, grabs Eric by the neck. Both are bleeding from the mouth in the same place from Eric's blow.
You're the only bitch here. I like that one.
You know what would really improve these panels is if you stop, tell us what the mood is, and if the lights are flickering.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Panel 2, medium shot. As Viviax squeezes Eric's neck, her neck also begins to compress, as if being crushed.
Do that again, and don't care if I destroy us both. I'll crush you.
Yeah.
Panel 3, close up. Viviax releases her grip on Eric's neck.
Understood.
Panel 4, wide shot. Viviax and Eric fall to the floor of the White Room. Gasping for air, Gatsby stands off to the side, his arms crossed with an annoyed look on his face.
Are we ready to talk now?
Page 24, panel 1, wide shot. Viviax scowls up at Gatsby. Gatsby remains stoic, looking down at her with his arms crossed.
Fine.
Panel 2, close up. Gatsby claps his hands together in excitement.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Panel 3, close up. Gatsby grins mischievously.
First, a question for the lady.
A big.
That's not what he wrote.
Big question for the lady.
Panel 4, close up. Gatsby eye sparks with a glint of green flame.
How did a lower demon, like yourself, learn how to merge the body and soul of two beings?
That's a good question.
Mm.
I don't even know the answer.
As the writer.
Yeah.
Well, now we're reading fan fiction, so not anymore, Preston. Not anymore. Page 24, panel 5, medium shot. Viviax raises an eyebrow. Her eyes glow a pale red as she seductively bites on the tip of one of her claws.
no one had to teach me how to take someone inside me.
Whoa.
She is the sucking inside me.
Yeah.
Don, were you consulting on the dialogue?
There you go.
Page 25, panel 1,
Oh my
medium
goodness.
shot. Gatsby waves off the flirt, remaining serious.
Charming, you can put away the succubus act for now. Just answer me.
Panel 2, medium shot. Viviax frowns towards Gatsby, annoyed at having to repeat herself.
I wasn't joking. It's just a natural talent.
So apparently Larry isn't going to come up with how it happened either.
There you go.
Well, you know, that would require writing Preston's character, and I'm sure Preston didn't send a Bible over with the.
Well,
I did not. That's true.
Panel 3.
True, but this is where you get into like what did they call those Star Wars books that developed the lore that were
expanded
never
universe.
Yeah, expanded.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to do your expanded universe lore.
It's coming.
Eric stands up beside Viviax, a look of annoyance washing over his face.
Both of you are frustrating me greatly with these innuendos. Can we just get to the point?
Yes, can we just get to the point? Let's find out. Panel 4, medium shot. Gatsby smiles coyly.
The point is, I'm trying to understand why you have this gift.
Page 26, panel 1, medium shot. Viviax relents her bravado. Okay. Angrily pouting and looking away from Gatsby.
It's an inheritance from our father.
Wow.
Panel 2, medium shot. Gatsby's face lights up as he playfully points towards Viviax.
There we are. You receive this gift from Lucifer, but only half the ability.
Panel 3, close up. Gatsby rubs hands together excitedly.
If I had more time with Samael, I could have figured out why that particular brood of angels could absorb and integrate the primal forces.
Has Gatsby had any time with Samael?
He doesn't. Yes, later. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
This is after
I
Primal
lettered
Chaos.
your book, and I just wasn't sure.
This is after Primal Chaos 5 and 6, so you know.
Jesus, all right.
We're way ahead.
I think I just lettered Gatsby in 4, right?
You did, yeah.
Okay. Panel 4, medium shot. Eric interjects into Gatsby's rant. That's a rant.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Looking even more annoyed.
How does this help us?
Yes, how does this help us? Page 27, panel 1, close up. Gatsby smiles off to the side.
It's far easier for me to show you. You might not like it, though.
That's not helping us. Just do something. Panel 2, close up. Viviax squints and glares. Pick one. Gritting her teeth, unimpressed with Gatsby's answer.
More historical drama. Didn't you get the hint the first time?
Oh no, more historical drama. Panel 3, medium shot. Gatsby waves away her commit, grins and backhands her with a well-crafted insult.
You will just have to bear with it and fake excitement. You should be well experienced enough to give.
God, you stop telling the reader what to do.
Sorry.
Don't tell me how to read your book. Panel 4, medium shot. Viviax winks at Gatsby, retorting with a flirt. Eric rubs his temple in annoyance.
Slut shaming me will get you everywhere.
Can we please get on with this?
Yeah, I guess we need 5 pages, dude.
Shit.
Yeah. Can we please get on with it?
Insert Monty Python scene here.
Yeah.
I mean, like Larry's like written all this stuff, and I'm like, man, he's written more Guinevere issues than I have. And I'm like,
Get on with it. Anyways, on page 28, panel 1, we have a medium shot. Gatsby turns serious once more, extending his arm out, his fingers ready to snap. Someone's going to draw his fingers nearly falling off.
Okay, sorry. Ready to snap his fingers. Sorry. I'll reword that. Yeah.
If it was my artist, then he would definitely be ready to snap off.
Yeah.
I'm going.
So good at reading.
Yes.
Yeah, no, oh, not going to get into that on stream. I'm going to keep the information brief and to the point. So get ready to explore a few centuries condensed into the long length of a small book.
Can we keep this scene?
No.
Clearly not.
No.
Panel 2, close up. Gatsby snaps his fingers. Snap. Panel 3, wide shot. The white room streaks to black and green around Gatsby, Viviax, and Eric.
Try to keep up.
Page from the guide, splash page. Caption Wild Region, Austrasia Franca.
Francia.
Yeah, what's Austrasia though?
I don't know.
Australasia.
Which, for the record, nowhere near Germany.
Australasia is actually like well, if you're going by like
Austria
drift, is when Australia and Asia were once one continent.
I think he's thinking Austria.
No, including Australasia.
Larry, what do you mean?
This is how it was spelled on the old map. I'm just going by it.
Okay,
so.
fair enough.
Yeah. So.
It's when the Turks controlled it.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of going by an old map that we aren't going to see, just pick something.
You could just say Francia or Germany.
Yeah.
And piss off both the French and the Germans, which is 100% the way to do it. You could also just call it Gaul, because people did call it that back then.
Yeah.
Later on, yes, they did.
Or the area currently.
Look at the Ottoman Empire. It's the Ottoman Empire is what he's talking about.
At the end of Rome.
Okay.
If you want, I can look it up for you.
Ottoman Empire.
I mean, I did look it up, but anyway, so. Yeah.
See, that's why you should have asked Grok. He would have known.
Yes, I should have. Yeah. But anyway.
Like Elon Musk's idiot machine?
Yeah. He was busy crawling back to Mr. Trump.
Cool.
Sure. Or you could ask the medieval historian you already know.
Okay.
But I would say, look, I asked Grok some fairly specific, detailed questions, and it comes back with.
All AIs are pretty good at this sort of thing at this point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's going to let them write your story for you?
Caption: Germany in Australia. Wide shot: a valley surrounded by thick evergreen forest and a small hill in the center has become a battleground. A group of 5 angels in power armor, wielding spears of blue flame, swoop downward toward a group of 10 heavily armored men, branding the purple and gold colors of Gustav's Legion at the base of the hill.
Brandishing.
Yeah.
A large army stands at the top of the hill.
No, I think they're branding Gustav's Legion.
Sure.
Seriously?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't write it.
Yeah.
Bloody corpses of other fallen soldiers, very specific, very drawable. I love it. Wearing the same armor as who surround the remaining group. The men on the ground ready their long claymore swords and wide shields to meet the coming onslaught. A claymore is not a long sword. A claymore is 2 meters long, dude.
All right.
And don't you have to wield a claymore with 2 hands?
You do, yeah.
You can't hold a shield while wielding a claymore?
You can, but the claymore bounce off it and you're going to cut your own neck off.
Captain.
Anyways, someone needs to give a line.
Pretty, man. We're still in this fight.
Yay.
Hey,
good line.
Was that the end?
No,
that's one more page.
This is the end.
All right. Page 30, panel 1, wide shot. The angels swoop through the Legion troops with ease, slicing their bodies into pieces with the flaming spears they didn't have in the last page where they were introduced.
Sure they did.
Adding to the gore on the ground.
Yeah.
Sling / whoosh. Panel 2, wide shot. Gustav, Thea, and Gatsby stand stoically atop the grassy hill in front of a larger battalion of troops wearing the same armor as the previously slaughtered group. Gustav and Thea are still wearing the same gear as the previous scene with them. That scene still happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gatsby now wears a long coat, tied at the waist, and a breastplate donning the same colors as Gustav and Thea. Is he wearing a breastplate over top of a trench coat or
He
under?
sure is. Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be wearing it under the trench coat?
Because it's a design choice.
But actually, under the trench coat's probably where it would be better off.
Probably, but it's just cooler going to be look this way. Trust me. So.
All right.
That's the last of the front line. Are we just going to stand here?
Oh, good. More dialogue where nothing happens. Panel 3, medium shot. Gustav smiles toward Gatsby, who looks back at him in bewilderment at his reply.
No need to go anywhere. They are circling around to strike us next.
That should be a good reason to start moving. Wouldn't you agree?
Dun, dun, dun. All right, Larry. How about that? We had some pages. We had angels. Angels killed people. We had Viviax and Eric, who were hurting themselves and each other because they're linked.
Yes.
And that was cool. I like seeing that. And yeah, you know what? Those two probably would be battling constantly. It's definitely an odd couple with those two. The only thing they really share in common is the love of Winnegar.
There we go. Yeah.
I liked it. And Diane, I don't know if you heard.
I only heard half of it.
Okay. Well, what did Danny think?
Danny is really impressed that Larry has finally learned how to use the page break button.
There you go.
And that all of the pages actually started on a new print page. Also, the dialogue was fine, and the bit where Eric and Viviax were fighting each other and destroying the same body was kind of cool.
John.
Yeah, it had some clever ideas, introduced some new concepts. I have no idea what's going on in the Primal Chaos world because I've only ever read issue 1.
I bet it's chaotic.
Yeah, well, okay, let me rephrase. I only read issue 1 in its final form. I've read the other issues whenever Larry decides to present them on stream.
Right.
So anything I know about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this I know from the stream. So, but yeah, no, it was interesting. The character banter, some of it was really interesting, and seemed like
what was
Preston
your
said
favorite
on
piece of character banter?
I thought the banter between Viviax and Eric was good, like you mentioned. And
What was your favorite line, John?
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
So yeah, and I thought some of the double entendres were pretty funny.
Robert.
I agree pretty much. John said everything that I would have said. I think that the dialogue indicates that there's action going on because it doesn't step on the visuals. So that's a good thing. You're going to need a hell of an illustrator to make this work. I can't say that. So, but otherwise, I enjoyed it. It flowed, so I liked it.
Erwin.
I'm not clear on what's going on, but I always like a good big battle scene. That looks fun, and Gatsby sounds kind of interesting.
And you have any idea how it could be made better?
Maybe more doing while talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, this is something Danny mentioned while he was reading it. I don't feel very clear on some of the illustration stuff. There's parts that were very clear. The bloody corpses of soldiers, very clear what it was going to look like. Other stuff was almost like thought, and I'm not sure what an illustrator would do with that. So I think it needs a little more descriptive, a lot more descriptive indications for the illustrator to work with it, because I've got a little confused on some of it, what I'm actually supposed to be seeing or what the emphasis of that is. The dialogue is so spare, which I do like, and I know that there's action going on, but I'm not quite sure what that action looks like from the panels. That's my thing. save for the double entendres, but I'll leave that for John.
John Lamont.
Yeah. No, I think you need to bring them up a notch. Starting with the first one, the only thing I want to drive is my foot into that irritating mouth of yours. Like, you can drive other things into other orifices. That I think
You want her to be more vulgar?
Yes.
I think you can. Yeah, if you're going to go and double entendre, you need to dial that up, especially with Viviax. I mean, she's a freaking succubus, for crying out loud. Like,
she is. Yeah.
Really go into it. So that's a driving joke. She made another backseat driver. So that's another driving joke.
Penetration.
There was really only one good, and I commented on it. There was really only one good innuendo line, and then there were couple other lines that were like really just kind of half-assing it, and I felt like that one was one of them. I'm skimming through right now. I guess like you kind of did. What was the merging of the bodies? Like merging two souls, like that could also be a good one.
Well,
Gatsby's line about fake excitement. Oh, you just have to bear with it and fake excitement. Like, come on, like, you can make that into an faking orgasm joke. Because again, Viviac says slut-shaming me will get you everywhere, but I don't really see him doing that. Like, her comment doesn't build on.
But his good dialogue, John, you're making the point that his good dialogue makes the weak dialogue even weaker, and that's where I'd like to see it pick up.
Yes. So yeah, that's a good way to put it, Robert. So like some of it's good, and some of it just needs to be punched up a bit.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that'll make it work. And then when she's talking about the slut shaming and all of that, I think that'll get more of a laugh if they are kind of basically speaking in double entendres. And then if really try to work through how you can say them without, so in a way that you can communicate story, character, and plot through the double entendres. So your double entendre isn't just a sex joke and a meaningless thing. Like, make your double entendre a sex joke and plot at the same time. And I think you can really strengthen up some of that dialogue and make it work a lot better. And
really
it'll be funny to
really
do.
Good point. That's a very good point. It'll strengthen it.
Danny.
Speaking of dialogue, you should indent it.
That would help. Yes.
Like a script format.
Danny, baby steps. He just figured out how to do page returns.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't.
Okay. And downloading Writer Solo takes how long?
Yeah, I'm working.
So that dude, just download it to your phone. It doesn't matter. Anyways, whatever.
No.
So that
didn't work so well, so I didn't.
Secondly, you continue to spend time going in circles instead of doing anything. You literally had 2 pages. I'm 90% certain on memory that they're on the same spread. Close up of Viviax, medium shot of Viviax, medium shot of Gatsby, wide shot of the room. On the same spread, dude. So, yeah, get on with it. When one of your characters is saying, can we get on with this boring explanation and get to the story?
It's a hint.
And you're making me agree with your villain?
I put that line in there for you. So
just like, yeah, get on with it. There's nothing happening here. Like, okay,
cut to the army on the battlefield screaming, get on with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least then you'll get a laugh out of people.
Yeah, slap
like, have the army.
No, they might start thinking of a better story that was.
Have the army break through the panel on page 25 and scream, "Get on with it," and then flip the page to their like, yes. Now here our story.
It's like a Blazing Saddles thing, right?
I don't have a problem with that.
It's Monty Python, but yeah.
I mean, bit of both. Mel Brooks did enough meta comedy, especially in Blazing Saddles, when they go see Blazing Saddles at the end.
Oh, okay. Been a while since I've seen the movie.
So yeah,
That
Brooks
was a great movie.
Yeah. No, it was. Where are the white bitches
so-
at?
Yeah.
So okay, again, talking about things that are exactly as interesting as Primal Chaos instead of things that are more interesting.
Oh,
Ooh,
sorry.
Danny.
Ouch.
Well, I'm talking about specifically about Primal Chaos. So you've literally got a character whose job is to say we're wasting our time here. None of this is interesting. And as it turns out, that character is right. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of ways to make it more interesting. I agree with everyone. You can turn a lot of the dialogue up to 11.
Sure, yeah.
If you should. Like, Viviax, she's a succubus. She probably shouldn't want to, like, jam her foot down someone's mouth. She'd want to, like, jam her foot into Gatsby's dick hole. And, like, just go nuts. Right? And you'd be like, okay, you want to, like, lie down and think of pandemonium? Make jokes about hell. It's funny.
He doesn't need more. He doesn't need more dialogue. He needs more
literally
on-point dialogue
waiting to happen, and none of this advances the plot. Which, for the record, no one in any of those 8 pages says what it is. What is the plot? Is the point of those 8 pages for Gatsby to say, "Oh, you only got some magic, but not all of it"? Because that's one sentence, and it should take fewer than 8 pages for you to get that point across. So either condense it or, like, have it actually be interesting.
Okay.
Is my suggestion there.
I feel like people, particularly, I want to ditto what Danny had to say about getting on with it. Just kind of as a general writer's note, reading over your stuff. Like, I'm thinking back to Moon Baby, and when
30 pages to get on with it.
Yeah, we opened up with like that crew on the base who's kind of observing a monster coming out of the moon, and like so many pages are just them like tech supporting like why instruments aren't working or how to relay messages. I'm like, well, who cares? Move.
There's a monster.
Like, there's a monster on the moon.
Who cares? Get back to those people. So just a bit more attention to that, and I think you're right. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, we have a Draco script.
Let's go.
I can't wait. So
okay. Sentient Tank, please be.
I'm hoping.
No, it's not that one.
Share screen. Here we go.
Is it a zombie movie?
No,
I hope so.
They're all zombie movies.
It's not a zombie movie, unfortunately.
They're all zombie movies.
They're
Even
all
the Sentient
zombie
Tank.
movies.
Even Sentient Tank was a zombie tank.
I know. No,
This
it
one's-
was a zombie fighting tank.
From what I read on this one, it seemed more inspired by Serial Twins. I'm just saying that.
Also,
All right, I'm glad. I want the Draco serial twins.
Yeah.
Crossover.
you know what? Actually, Draco can write serial twins.
There we go.
Yeah, I think you could do a better job. But anyway, let's see what he's got there.
Interior abandoned warehouse night, static crackling audio. The first glow of a smartphone screen lights up a girl's tear-streaked face. Her
Better than
breath-
serial twins already.
She's maybe 16,
She's maybe 16. Yeah.
trembling, blood on her hoodie. Her phone is held at arm's length, recording.
Please,
Wait,
please don't make me.
she's maybe 16?
She's maybe 16.
The Vanta filter overlays her face, warping it into a glowing mask with glassy eyes and an unnerving smile. A deep, distorted voice echoes through the phone. Speaker, cheerful, robotic.
You know what? That's what I should have done when I did Demonatrix. I should have said
She's maybe
maybe
16.
maybe 17. And everybody goes ape shit, then she's not anymore. But maybe she.
John, I promise you, that was not the biggest problem with Demonatrix.
Yeah.
The rest of
All right.
Demonatrix was the biggest problem with Demonatrix.
We went to the map.
shit.
I think I'm allowed to say this, but John Lamont attended my deposition, and opposing counsel asked me, like, whether I thought the Demonatrix was a good book that was going to sell well, and I was like, no. And he was like, really? Why are we promoting it? I'm like, so that John could understand that it was a bad book that nobody wanted.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I took an oath to tell the truth. There you go.
Harsh.
All right.
Harsh. Wow. Do you want some
Hey,
aloe vera for the burn?
The best part of that was when he put me on the stand and said, "How did Preston's comments make you feel?" And I'm like, I knew he knew it was shit from the beginning. I knew he hated it from the beginning. It was no surprise.
Nice.
Like it was a shock to me that Preston hated the book. Like, I'm sorry.
Demonatrix is not
We
the
have
version
to
on
wipe off
the
the
PC.
screen.
From the
Preston spit taked on the screen and he laughed so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little
Anyway,
Okay.
so
Enough of
she's
that.
maybe 16, maybe 61.
So
Okay.
is Vanta the girl?
Vanta is
No.
currently
A voiceover.
undescribed because, God forbid, we can't read someone's mind when we're reading a Draco script.
Yeah.
Or else we'd already know it's about zombies.
Well, no, apparently Vanta is an AI, according to
Is
what
it?
I'm reading. Well, if you read the next line, yeah. So,
Well, it says VO.
Oh, I'll do Vanta.
Go ahead.
Smile for the fans. You're trending.
yeah.
She
But she's
turns
a
the
deep-
camera, showing a rusted metal corridor behind her. Red exit signs flickering. Loud clangs echo. Something is moving. Something big.
I did everything you said. I played your game. It's Star, man.
You
Over
just,
over the filter interface. Final vote: hide or run. Run. 72%.
No.
Hide. 28%. Vanta responds immediately.
You heard them. Run, baby, run.
The girl sprints down the corridor of metal, clanging under her feet. She gasps as she slips and slams into a chain door.
No.
Wait. Do me a favor. Scroll to the top for real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the okay. All right. I wanted to get the location tag. I'm like, there's metal hallways and chain link fences all in this single location. And I'm wondering what single location is all this?
I'm ready to say this is the best page I've ever read from Draco.
There you go.
I'm willing to agree.
Yeah.
It's not at all similar to every Death Game anime ever.
No.
No, not at all. No.
Look, it's formatted very nicely. You know?
No, that's fine. As I said, I was
There's
confused
no
on the location.
incoherent
That's all I
rambling.
asked.
Everything's drawable. It almost looks like a human being wrote it.
Is this a comic book or this is written like a movie?
This is a screenplay.
This is a
Screenplay, yeah.
Behind her, a floodlight kicks on. A shadowy figure steps into frame behind a wire mesh screen. We don't see his face, just the outline watching. A screen rips through the cut to black. All right, now I guess he can do that. But
Yeah.
Episode complete.
It's not clear whose scream it is. Therefore, it is my scream.
Red Room will return live soon. Interior Adrian's trailer nigh.
Yeah.
That is
Nigh
technically
is soon upon us.
Yeah. Them silent. The hum of
Oh, my
machines
goodness.
pulses like a heartbeat. Rack focus on a blinking LED.
He's directing again.
He is.
Stop directing.
Rows of hard drive spin.
The
maybe-
writer
Dying in one page. Who gives a crap what her age is?
Surveillance monitor.
I'm sorry.
A pair of eyes watch closely. Adrian Cole, 30s, leans clean,
my
cut,
goodness.
disturbingly calm, sits barefoot at a custom-built desk. His posture is perfect. His face emotionless.
Thomas Jane's too old to play that character.
He's scrolling
Yes.
through Red Room chat logs on one monitor. Holy shit, that scream at the end.
Good job, Danny.
That dialogue?
I tipped
Yeah.
0.2 Bitcoin for the run vote. Worth it. Where's the next? See, at long last, we finally found a use case for Bitcoin. I'm pretty happy.
Yes.
Where's the-
Illegal bartering online.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
It was always for that.
Yeah.
That
It's
should,
not
the
a
text should be
use
written as
case,
dialogue,
it's
though.
the use case.
He's
Yeah.
reading it on a screen, and unfortunately, he didn't specify angle monitor. Like if you read my script,
Yeah.
I tell you this is on screen. What he's showing there is supposed to be displaying on a TV screen, but
Yeah.
he's not telling us that. It's
Well,
not
it says
very
on
clear
one
in the
monitor, but
I mean,
okay.
at least he gives us a line break and a colon. There is some formatting here to indicate it, and I find this acceptable. Like at this stage, considering
Sure,
who's
at
writing
this
it,
stage,
100%.
yes. Yeah.
Like for a reading script,
It's-
this is fine.
Another screen plays the girl's final moments from scene 1. Her face freezes in terror as the Vanta filter warps her features. Adrian watches in silence. He clicks save. Folders filled with names, timestamps, and votes. A small text-to-speech interface sits open on his screen. Vanta script engine. He types, "Smile for the fans, you're trending." Click plays. The familiar voice echoes over his speakers.
Smile for the fans. You're trending.
He smiles slightly. Adrian swivels to a massive bulletin board on the wall covered in Polaroids of teenagers, social media screenshots, class schedules, snap map locations, printed DM transcripts, all connected with red yarn like a spider web. At the
The
center
murder board.
Yeah.
Murder board.
at the center a printed filter image labeled Vanta Beta 4.0. Adrian picks up a push pen and adds a new photo of the girl from scene 1. Printed from her final video. He pens it up, draws a line, smiles again. Then his fingers move across a keyboard, searching a username at Emily Rain in M. He clicks on her Snap profile, scrolls from selfies, captions, filters, stops on a video. This new Vanta filter is a wild kind of creepy, but like sexy creepy. He clicks download.
You're next.
Wait, hold on.
Actually, maybe I should do that one earlier. You're next.
Yeah.
Because I think Vanta and Adrian are the same person,
I don't know.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
Vanta and Adrian are the same person.
which means
Yeah.
Robert needs to read
Yeah.
that one.
Into your high school
Okay.
library. What is? I got we got a duh.
Ah.
Day.
That's not a time.
Day. It means day.
I think it does mean day. Sunlight filters through cracked blinds. A quiet buzz of students doing homework, scrolling phones, whispering gossip.
I would watch High School Library District Attorney.
There we go. At a back table, Emily, 17, confident,
Oh,
sarcastic,
she's
half-witted
17.
eyes.
Okay. Yeah.
that hide a sharp mind, flips through a magazine. Across from her sits her best friends. Maya, 17, thoughtful, artistic, hoodie up, doodling in her notebook. Ben, 18, loud, athletic, always joking, masking insecurity.
No.
Jess, 17, morbidly curious, obsessed with true crime, earphones in. Louise, 17, tech savvy, the chill one, always filming for a vlog no one watches.
These are character descriptions.
They are.
They are. Yeah.
They are character descriptions.
They're the characters from like the 5th season of Arrow plus Xander from Buffy.
Emily holds up her phone.
Or the Breakfast Club.
You want
Yeah, the Breakfast Club is what I was thinking.
Tell me this filter isn't cursed.
to She applies the Vanta filter to her face. Her eyes glow faintly. Her smile warps unnaturally, but it still looks cool enough to be trendy.
No thanks. I've seen enough demon possession movies.
Maya doesn't think that it's cool enough to be trendy.
Yeah.
So
That's right, yeah.
why is the action telling me it's cool enough to be trendy? If
Yeah, I think the
first
action is a
person
fucking
responding-
liar and can stop telling me what to think.
Yeah. I gotta lean over here. So,
Stop
damn.
gaslighting us, action line.
Damn, you look like a sexy alien. I'd still swipe right.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
How is this cool to anyone?
It's called Vanta. That's like a real dark web name.
John.
Probably AI driven. They use facial tracking, predictive text, emotional tagging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll just call me an M-bug. Well, it'll be just called me an M-bug?
Well, it just called me Ember.
The visual filter did what?
Yeah.
No one calls me that, but my grandma. It's creepy.
The others pause.
Wait, what? You're joking, right?
Emily shows the screen. A text bubble appears over the filter.
Looking good, M-Bug. Want to play?
Everyone goes quiet.
Except for Ben. Nah, hell no. That's a skip.
Send it to me. I want to try.
Hold on. Let me screen record this.
I just want to say everyone did not go quiet.
Literally, nobody went quiet.
Nobody went
quiet.
Louise grabs his phone and starts filming. Emily shrugs.
Oh my goodness.
Amused but uneasy.
If I go missing, tell Mom I died ironically.
They all laugh.
What do they look like?
How do you kind of
Enter Emily's bedroom night. Dim string lights, posters on the wall, a half-empty bag of Takis on the desk. Lo-fi beats hum from her Bluetooth speaker. Emily lies on her stomach in bed, scrolling through her phone. Her friend's group chat is active. Maya.
Jess is still messing with that filter, lol.
Why do some of these have carrots and some of them don't?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Tell Vanta I'm ready for my close-up.
Bet it's some indie dev trying to go viral.
Y'all weak. I'd win the game easy.
Emily rolls her eyes, smiles, and types.
Vanta just called me again. Said, it's almost time.
Before she hits send, her screen freezes, glitches. The Snapchat app opens on its own. The Vanta filter activates. Dead. Snapchat gonna kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how the owners of the Snapchat trademark are going to like it when a movie comes out featuring a serial killer using their app.
It was just called Chat Snap.
Snap Chapper.
Yeah, her face appears. Yeah,
I like Chat Snap.
Yeah, Chat Snap. Her face appears, warps slightly. The room darkens. The glowing eyes blink. A text bubble forms.
You're curious, M-Bug. That's what I love about you.
Emily stares, doesn't move. She exits the app.
So she moves.
You didn't say goodbye.
Emily sits up softly, pulls the plug on her speaker. Silence. Another message appears, this time outside the app as a system notification.
Let's play. 1 hour. Come alone.
A red map pen appears somewhere off Rio Bravo by the old rail yards. Emily's breathing picks up. She opens her window and peers outside. Quiet. Nothing.
Where does
Louise
this red
is
map
right.
pin appear
Viral
from?
stunt. Stupid game.
But she's already slipping on her shoes. Interior Adrian's trailer. Night. The glow of screens bathes the room in eerie blue. A bank of monitors displays split views, GPS maps, live traffic cams, and Emily's phone camera accessed without permission. How do we know that?
How do we know that she doesn't?
How do we know that?
Maybe there's a big
Every
warning,
audience
like,
member gets a script.
You are watching this camera feed without the user's permission.
A red dot blinks on the map. Emily moving southwest through Albuquerque, approaching a derelict industrial zone. Adrian sits in front of it all, still focused on screen. Emily's front-facing camera shows her driving, chewing on her lip, eyes scanning the streets. Her Snapchat app is closed, but the filter. I got it. How do we see that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That. All right. Anyway. But the filter camera runs in the background. Vanta is watching her. Adrian types something into a nearby command prompt. Trigger voice. You're almost here.
You're almost here.
Adrian watches her jerk the wheel slightly in the feed. She pulls over shaken.
Don't run now.
He switches views. Security feeds from inside the warehouse flicker to life. Infrared, night vision, regular cams. It's ready. Room A, a hallway lined with mirrors. Room 2, a child's bedroom replica with bloody drawings. Room 3, locked, labeled audience pick. Adrian opens the red room dashboard. A stream preview is set to go live in 15 minutes. Status private. Viewers in queue 312. Bitcoin bet pool 0.42 Bitcoin. All right, stakes are moving up. He clicks record. A new title appears on screen.
How much Bitcoin was the other girl worth?
Like 0.2 or something.
Yeah.
That's a bloody waste of time.
I at current prices,
$1,000.
Not too bad, man. Yeah. Emily, the test subject. Adrian leans back, hands steepled on the monitor. Emily steps out of her car. The camera tracks her in real time as she approaches the towering abandoned warehouse. Her phone buzzes again. A final message from Banta appears. Don't be late. Adrian smiles. And that's it. All right. I gotta say, good job, Draco.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you've come a long way, baby. That's
This doesn't read like it doesn't write like a Draco script, like a typical Draco script. I think
That's true.
No.
Yeah,
he's gotten better.
He's
Yeah.
writing exceedingly better.
So good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, all right. So we have when we get to constructives, I'm going to be like, all right, how is this app stalking people? But I mean, in terms of we're afraid of technology, so this is a technology and stalkery people using computers and anonymity are out to hurt you, and those are some great themes.
It's actually conflict.
Yeah, we
There's
got some
actual
conflict. We got a villain.
Yeah.
Excellent work in 10 pages.
Mhm.
You got anything else, Dan?
I liked how the flow of it
Okay.
kind of went. You established the characters, you established the villain, conflict. Some of the dialogue was a little snappy. I kind of like that. Like I said, this does not read like a typical Draco script. I think this is a vast improvement from what we have read. And let's see if you actually finish 100 pages.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. It would be really great if we saw
the landing. Yeah.
That sounds okay.
I would hate to think these are the only pages.
Yeah.
I would hate
Only
to think
pages.
these are the only but as much as we make fun of you, know that we really do want you to write more stuff of that you stick to. That's the thing. We really, really would like you to do that because this has potential. I actually do think this could make a really good story, but are you going to write the rest of it? That's all I'm saying.
Erwin.
Yeah, I haven't been to too many of these meetings over the past year or so, but it seems like Draco's written like 100 pages.
Very prolific.
100 stories. Yeah.
Just in the 10 sessions I've been. Anyways,
the sad thing is that when he has written 100 pages, but they're 10 different vignettes of 10 pages.
Yeah. No, this one is different. It had me in suspense. I think that's the number one thing that I took away from this. I'm wanting to see what happens. I'm concerned about the main character. And I can feel her emotions. Yeah, definitely. So very good.
Robert.
I do like the dialogue. It tripped over itself a couple times, but we'll get to that. And the number of characters in it, I don't know. I get a little bit confused about them, but I'd like that they're there because they add volume to the experience. And that's not something I've seen in his other stuff. So that's a huge improvement. He had kind of the two things that I've read of his, he had like random people there that didn't seem to do anything. These people are part of the milieu, and I like that. I like that he created a sense. Well, I'm going to call it a sense of community. She's part of something. So now, the threat becomes more palpable in the fact that we know that somebody's going to miss her, and she's aware of it. So the stakes are raised because we feel the threat. She's got community. What's going to happen to her? So that's good stuff in a story.
Larry.
Yeah. He's got a good intro, which is nice. It sets up the stakes of the story. Then he's got, some good flow with the characters and whatnot. Just needs some touch-ups. So let's get some touch-ups. Yeah. Touch-ups. Let's say. Yeah. I'll be nice. Let's hit touch-ups.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
So I think one of the cool things that this touches on is kind of the whole cyber stalking thing in the modern era.
Sure.
Like if an app on your phone is, not the most secure app out there, what permissions does this app have that it's potentially leaking out to unknown parties. The fact that, and again, I don't want to get too much into criticism on this because I've got other things to say on that. But in the good end, this is what be a good reason why you don't use a name brand, because what you're now basically doing is you're putting Snapchat in a situation where you're saying their app is unsecure.
Yeah.
So this is why you're better off making up your own apps, because then when you make up your own app, you can literally have it be. I mean, maybe this Vanta guy built the app and it's all the rage, but this app is clearly designed to give unlawful permissions to the owner.
All right.
Oh, nice.
So
there we go. He's got the.
I don't believe a word of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll believe it when we see it. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think that's cool, because I think it will, because that is a real thing that really happens, is unsecure or unsafe apps that can create a backdoor in that less than reputable people can use to access your precise location and your cameras and your microphones and all of those kind of things. So I think in that regard, assuming that it's not a known app, I think you can leaning into that, I think, is one of the strengths of this, because it creates part of the horror aspect that you can lean into, is that real world aspect of just how safe is that random app you just downloaded on your phone, and that kind of thing is a real world thing. So I think, again, change the company, lean into that, and I think you can really, really strengthen what you're getting here.
He's already got it too. Just call it the Vanta app and call the filter like the weird smile or something like that, right? You know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Danny.
I like how he had characters talking to each other in the same room.
That is new. All right, constructors.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
That was it.
All right, constructors, go ahead, Danny. I know you have some ideas.
Oh my goodness.
It's a video filter.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a video filter inside another app.
Yes.
That somehow takes over your whole phone.
Yep.
B, your life.
Yep.
And C, also your common sense.
Yeah.
In what way is it taking over your common sense?
Well,
she's driving out to a strange warehouse in the middle of the night.
Yeah, for no reason. Like she doesn't have to go.
While staring at
come on, she's a teenager. She does it.
Mirror with a filter on.
Yeah.
Is literally the only. No one's talking to her. The filter somehow is talking to her. How can you tell it's the filter unless she's just staring at the equivalent of a mirror? It's a stupid magic mirror. And you know what mirrors are really bad at reflecting? Shit that ain't in front of them. So that's a
Just
problem.
watch Snow White, you'll get that.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's a slight problem with your entire concept. And with that being said, I know how you could film it, and it would be ridiculous. And I kind of want to see that happen, which is whenever anyone is being affected by the filter, you use that filter on the actor that you film.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like diegetically, instead of through the phone. Now, while that would look ridiculous in the literal sense that it is utterly worth ridicule, it would also be interesting. So I'm pretty confident you're not going to do that. But you should consider that.
Actually, that might work, though. It
is literally the only way any of this could possibly work.
Yeah, I mean, Danny's not half wrong. I mean,
I'm not half wrong.
The app, the app idea needs work to really, really dial into that. And I mean, your characters need to act like real people, and unfortunately, your characters are cookie cutter caricatures.
And to his credit, his characters do act like characters in a horror movie.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do tend to act like
No,
idiots.
the descriptions made them a little more than that, and then they didn't fulfill.
But I don't know. I kind of.
Yeah, but Robert, you're only saying that because we were focused on Adrian.
Yeah.
Adrian, who doesn't belong there at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple issues. All right, we'll start with the formatting issues. The formatting does need a little bit of work, because you're directing in places you shouldn't be, and you're not in places you should be. Case in point, we need to know what somebody is reading on screen versus what is being said. And that's not always clear. Like that little bracket thing that you do it in one line but not in the other places. Like let us know what is on screen, what is not. And yes, some film editors and directors nowadays, when people are texting, they do that fancy little over screen thing where it pops up. You're not going to be doing that, because again, you're a screenwriter here, because it's not a comic. This is a screenplay that you presided. So that means the director and the editor are going to determine all of that fancy stuff. So you just tell us what's supposed to be on screen. So make that more clear. You had your red map pin appear out of freaking nowhere in the middle of her room. Like she's sitting on her room texting, and all of a sudden red pin appears. Like, where the hell did that come from? Like, I'm guessing that you're referring back to the red pin in Adrian's room, but if you're going to do that, you need to say abrupt cut to interior Adrian's room, focus on the map, all of a sudden, bam, this pin is now there. Then we cut back to, or like that kind of stuff you need to have in there. Otherwise, it's just really weird. But yeah, the main thing I think you really should focus on if you want to continue developing this project is the app. Make it a bigger. I think making the whole app the thing. Make it a TikTok, Twitter mashup thing, and maybe it has its own AI in it. That is maybe it's not an AI, maybe it's Adrian, or maybe it's an AI of Adrian's consciousness. That, I mean, because AI, large language models are literally just computers programmed with certain input. So maybe he just took, depending on how smart you want to make the guy, you could make him a super genius and whatever. But so I think the app should be like an all-encompassing thing, like a TikTok with a Twitter, microblogging, and an AI chat feature that you can converse with the AI chat bot, and maybe it tells jokes, and and make that an actual character, and then that character can then be coming back, and maybe she's just sitting in the room chatting with the AI chatbot, and it starts talking to her, and she thinks she's talking to this AI chatbot or whatever. And then maybe that, and then if you want to make your human people not act like idiots in a horror movie, then maybe the chatbot says something or predicts something that comes true, and maybe she starts to think, oh, maybe there's more here to this chat bot and this app than really is supposed to be. But now that I think about it, that's getting it into an entirely different story than the story that you actually presented here, because the story you presented here is more of a Hunger Games thing where you throw teenagers in a room and make them do Saw-like stuff to themselves.
I really like the warehouse full of zombies, though.
So, honestly, I'm going off on another tangent that's a completely different script.
Yeah, John, don't write a better story for him. That's not your
So I'm going to stop now.
Okay.
Larry.
Yeah. Really, I don't want to write a better story for him either, but based on what he has, I just don't feel that the main girl that we are introduced to later has enough reason to drive to the warehouse to get trapped. I think he needs to build a little bit more tension with the app.
Oh, you mean
first.
like any reason for her to drive to the warehouse?
Any reason for her to drive? Like, okay, no, hold on.
I got it. Larry,
no.
Don't pitch a better story, John.
No, Saul.
It's Larry's turn.
Yeah,
Saw.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Because Saul, he kidnaps them, so
Yes.
he can use the app to attract them, and then he goes and kidnaps them and brings them to the murder house, and you have Saul.
He's got it in there. He just needs to develop it more.
So like Saw with the warehouse full of zombies.
Like
Sure.
The app calls her by the name her grandmother calls her, right? So that kind of piques her curiosity. But then maybe the app says, well, I've got your grandmother and she's held at this location. If you want to come save her, come here. Or something like that, right? Give her a reason to go there. Like, just, teenagers are stupid, but they're not that fucking stupid. Yeah. So yeah, that's my major thing. I think he just needs to develop it out a little bit more. That's all. So
Robert.
Yeah. Structure needs a lot of work. There's two basic things that happen with the descriptors that you use. One is action, and the other one is general. And in the general, we need to know where we are, what it's like, and give us a sense of space. Action's what happens in that area that's defined by the general. And then, the dialogue, people, behave within that structure that you've set up. That needs a ton of work. It's very weak in that structural stage. You have way too much description in there that doesn't really tell us much. The character descriptions shouldn't be there. We should learn about those characters in the dialogue that they have with each other. And that would give, I think John was one who mentioned it, don't make them so shallow. Have them have dialogue, I guess they're in the cafeteria or something, or library. And they have dialogue with each other. They're humans. They do that. Even if they never look up from their phones, which would be a character, description that you could put in there, but they talk with each other. The next thing
first they're talking. Next time they're talking meaningfully. We'll get there.
Let's hope so. The other part of it is the Adrian character. I think Danny may have mentioned it. You don't need him, but he should be there visually. He should be like a silhouetted cipher. We just see him every now and then, but we only see him in context of something happening with Vanta, and we'll begin to visually marry those two together because he'll pop up each time something like that happens. The second Vanta is triggered, we see a silhouette of this guy. We don't have to read on his screen. That's like too on the nose with what's happening. There could be, again, you could have it be a text read of some sort by a robotic voice or by Vanta's voice. I mean, this is, freaking top technology. I wouldn't use the term AI. I wouldn't even mention AI. I would just have it act out what a super programmer could create, with heavy duty, computation going on in the background. We don't need to see that. We need to see the results of that. And that's the dialogue that takes place. The fact that he knows secret or personal facts that would be on her phone. And so they've reached into his phone and she has a sense of it, but hasn't quite explained it to herself because she's intrigued. Like the bad boy who pays attention to her. She wants to know more. What kind of attention? What are you really bad about? That's the building block that you start with to give her the motivation to leave her house, even though she knows it's wrong, crawl out the window, get down to the car and drive off to see this guy's warehouse or whatever it is. So there's a lot more character building that you've hinted at, but isn't there yet to justify a lot of the things that she's doing. And then the structure of the script is, I'm going to say, probably horrible at this stage, but I haven't seen enough of your earlier ones. It's so much better than the Steel Rain one. It's incredible. What a huge improvement there in terms of what you've done. And I don't want zombies. I want a sentient tank.
Yeah, but period. I know that there's zombies in that warehouse.
You think there are?
Every time anyone says Vanta, I think of that ad for the drink.
Zombies are a fallback. Think of something else.
Yeah.
Well, he had the locked room, the locked mystery room. That's where the zombies
This
are.
is like the black, was it the
Okay,
black
yeah.
phone? The black phone was the one where the kid's trapped in the room. I can't think of it. I think that's it. The black phone. Shit.
Erwin.
Cabin in the Woods.
No.
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
I think my, my personal leaning would be that, that this girl, this young woman, is wanting something just a little bit deeper. It's not just curiosity. It's not just that someone's kidnapped her grandmother, but somehow something a little bit deeper is drawing her towards something, and that this terrible force, or whatever, this terrible character is offering something. It's not just fear and terror. That would be interesting to me. It's like Eve, right? She didn't want to just doom all of humanity, right? She was interested in something. She was, maybe
Curious,
deeply bored. Yeah.
and
guys can,
I got to tell you, that's the snake is, kind of sexy and, and allegorical, metaphorical.
Bitches love snakes.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
So she was attracted to Vanta. Let that happen.
Yeah. So
I can't hear that name without thinking about a soda drink.
It's
really distracting.
The Fanta girls. Oh God, if you're in Europe, that's all you see are Fanta girls.
Yeah, Fanta.
Yeah, that's all I have. Yeah.
Dan, you got anything?
I think everybody said everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can really add to that has.
Does reading this script make you want a Fanta?
It did make me thirsty.
I generally don't drink soda. I haven't drank soda since I was 6.
Oh man.
The only time I partake is root beer on the tap, and that's super rare.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, we are entangled today, Erwin.
All right. Let's. Why don't we start off at page 13? I think
13. All right.
Yeah. Can you increase the
Sure.
for me and John?
Like
see the print.
At least you wear glasses,
Yeah.
right here.
Hey, I spent a lot of money, so I don't have to wear glasses. Thank you very much.
See.
You got LASIK?
Try one.
I did.
Oh wow.
That shouldn't just
20 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Draco wanted you to know no zombies in there.
Danny's
I don't know a word of it.
Danny's going to check out. He's going to go into his room and cry.
Until I've read all of any of your Eddie things, I'm not going to believe all of your scripts are not zombie scripts.
Yeah.
And if you want to prove me wrong, finish something.
The barbs.
All right, if we're gonna start.
Okay.
So what's happening?
Going to be Porchenko.
Well, should we start here on like the new slug?
Is that page 12 or?
This is 13.
Oh yeah, page 13. Yeah, the new slug.
13?
So that's a good place to start. So what has happened is we're introduced to Porchenko, the crazy, the sort of apocalyptic priest. Anna at 6. She's praying in the church. Porchenko's nice to her.
Too nice.
Yeah, very too nice.
Anna at 6 meets Jay at 6 in this new version, just very briefly. And then Anna at 6, Porchenko gets way too close to Anna at 12, and her father finds out and doesn't let Anna go to the church anymore. Porchenko takes the cue ball off of the
he's got one.
Full table
this
scene.
is really complicated. Should we just read it?
Kills her father, and so that's the end. And that's the end of that scene.
Who would you like to narrate?
I'll take it.
Oh, Diane.
All right.
Let's do this. Interior, Jay's home, day, flashback, 2012.
Wow, we're getting year slugs.
Yeah.
And they're not maybe 12. They're not maybe 12. They are 12. Yeah.
Okay, Jay at 12 comes home carrying just one candy bar and cash. Mr. Lee holds a belt in his hands.
Uh-oh.
You got a B on your report card?
Oh man, so Asian.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I'm
Fantastic.
getting
man.
like trauma flashbacks now.
Yeah.
It was a B plus. I'll do better. I have a responsibility to the family.
Mr. Lee seems disarmed. He sits back down. Interior living room night. Return to 2023. Jay and Anna roll the 8-ball into vases, into bowls, into drawers, onto a mousetrap, through a
Into bed?
through a croquet arch. Each time it makes it into its destination, the ball lands with the yes on top. Each time it misses, it says no.
Well, now we need
If you were
another
rejected
woman.
by the program,
The ball.
why did you
The
move
ball,
down
sorry.
here?
The ball.
The
ball,
I
okay.
just want
What?
people say this when it gets to construction, but I just want to say, if I'm making this or directing this, I'm going to be like, you need to tell me if the ball hits the vase, the bowl, the whatever. You can't just say sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses. But all right.
Okay. Yeah.
If you were rejected by the program, why did you move down here?
My other half is here, I believe. I'll find her.
If you're predestined to do so, you will find her. God rolls no dice.
Einstein's relativity. I drink the quantum Kool-Aid. Waves of probabilities crashing. That cat's alive and dead. There's more to it than meets the observer.
Anna looks at him and down.
Up and
Is
down.
there?
Up and down.
Up and down. Yeah.
Up and down. Excuse me.
Is there, she says. You looking at me?
She pivots her body towards him.
Don't you find it odd that we met tonight?
Danny, BJ.
Or met at all?
It must mean something, da.
She leans close to him as if to kiss, then shoves him away.
You fell for my rhetorical trap.
Ha 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 ha. I walked purposefully into it, so you'd shove me out of it.
Jay puts his hand on her cheek and smiles fiendishly.
We are destined to do something.
A love child?
Cocaine, maybe ecstasy.
Leading to a love child?
Jay grabs a handful of her hair. Hey.
Is this another trap?
Did you ever
Jesus.
Did you ever had a girl leave you with a dirty Sanchez?
No, and I think the term is racist.
Erwin, I gotta say, I love your dirty mind.
Wait. I'm a little. What's a dirty Sanchez?
That's when you stick your finger up the girl's butt and then you wipe the poop across her nose or just under her nose.
On her upper lip. Yeah.
So she looks like a Mexican bandit named Dirty Sanchez.
That's terrible.
Pretty bad.
That's terrible.
John Lamont
I can
territory.
imagine it in my head.
No, I don't deal with that.
Like it.
That's a line I don't draw.
Okay,
I don't
I
know.
got to tell you, Dirty Sanchez, I don't think that it's copyrighted or trademarked.
Okay.
But that's the game for a
What's
movie.
that chewing?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Hey,
I've
Draco, while you're overproducing,
Stop. Holy shit.
But Draco wanted you to know over 95% of the scripts have zombie.
Thanks for defending yourself.
that I do believe. I think the math is wrong.
We're killing
I think it's
Irwin's.
secret with that guy.
We're killing his read.
Oh
here.
my god, sorry.
No, and I think the term is racist.
I've drawn dirty Sanchez mustaches on many men.
That's hot. I'm not putting this 8-ball anywhere
Yes.
inside either of us.
Okay.
Anna takes the
Okay.
ball from him.
Because it's mine. I will create it and send it back in time to myself.
You will invent it and time travel, a mythical destiny of your own mind.
You quantum heads are the ones who believe your minds make real things.
You Einsteinians think it's all straightforward, so you have no way to explain existence itself.
Mistakes are made, and that is why you found the ball.
Jay snatches the ball back. Anna speaks slowly.
Do I have to utilize my Black Widow skills?
Interior bedroom night 2023. Jay is fucking a supine.
Supine and quiet, Anna.
What's a supine?
I think
lying down.
Lying down. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Prone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jane is fucking a supine and quiet Anna.
Starfish.
That is one of the most attractive descriptions I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have ever had the fortune.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm very.
This is no. I was referring to the actual words.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
He holds the 8-ball on the small of her back. Anna reaches back to try to grab it with both hands. Jay moves the ball ever so slightly to keep it out of reach. Later, missionary position. They breathe heavier now.
You're good.
I know.
I don't know how you do it.
It's not me. It's the ball.
Oh yeah.
I like how it's added to the scene. Okay, the ball sits on Jay's back even as he thrusts. It rolls this way and that according to gravity. Anna tries to grab it with one hand. The ball eludes her. On the other hand, the ball rolls away and still on Jay's back.
Okay. How fat is this guy that she can't get her arms?
About
incredibly, he is.
Yeah.
He must
aim
be.
is bad.
Oh,
He must
that's
be.
very mobile. That's a
Corpulent.
mobile ball. I'm okay with it being a mobile ball.
It's like rolling around like
It's a very active ball.
like David Bowie's balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Finally, in an astounding act of flexibility, Anna reaches for the ball with both feet, and she almost has it.
Yeah, there we go.
Silent orgasm causes her feet
to retract.
Her feet to
Causes her feet to
It's supposed
retract.
to be her.
It's her 2 feet to
Oh,
retract.
you're right. Causes her to feet to retract. Yeah, you're right.
To
Okay.
retract.
Okay,
As
I'm
Hey.
sorry you've never feeded before, Preston. But that's not the
as Jay slows and they arrive in the same place at the same time, the ball settles between Jay's shoulder blades.
It says yes.
It says yes.
Awesome.
God.
Interior Anna's home, day, time stream 2, 2012. Note, this scene, a parallel universe diverges from the original universe, time stream 1. Hereafter, this divergent universe is labeled time stream 2. Anna enters. The computer in the living room plays the video of Anna and her father singing an old folk song, and she smiles.
I home.
Anna turns the corner to the kitchen to find her father face down in a pool of blood, the back of his head bashed. Anna is about to scream, but the doorbell rings and she holds it in. She turns in fear. Exterior, Chicago Street, day, time stream 2, 2012. Jay, at 12, walks away from the neighboring home, stuffing cash into his pocket. He walks up to Anna's home and opens the front door without hesitation. Interior, Anna's living room, day, time stream 2, 2012. Jay, at 12, walks directly to the shocked Anna at 12, standing next to her dead father. Porchenko stands up, dropping the bloody cue ball to the floor. Anna picks up the bloody cue ball, examines it.
No, give me that. You get out of here.
Jay stumbles backwards. Jay and Anna's eyes catch.
I'm raising money to see the God particle.
At the Large Hadron Collider.
Porchenko shoves Jay. He flees. Interior, the room beyond time. Day, time stream 2, 2012. Porchenko slaps the struggling Anna at 12. The cue ball in her hand flies out, hitting the wall. He forces her to look into his eyes. Tick, tick, tick.
Do you believe you are the mother of God or not?
Yes, please stop. I'll be good.
Porchenko catches his breath.
You see that clock? All of space-time moves, but the clock never moves. Like that clock, you never move from this room.
Anna stares at the clock. It ticks louder.
When it's time, you will go to college. Your knowledge will explode. You will live your life free, but you will always return to this room. Always. You will I should be doing this. You will have the room and I are entangled.
Well, now you know how to write a vampire character.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Only particles can be entangled. Large objects cannot be entangled across all of space and time.
Porchenko lifts his hand to strike her. She shrieks. He can't. She sees the look in his eyes. She stands up and starts to walk towards the open door.
Lucifer shined a light on me and took my heart in his hands. That's why I did what I did. He turned my love into rage, but he was only doing the dictates of destiny.
Anna stops. Porchenko puts his arm around her.
If you leave this room in favor of the Garden of Earthly Delights, Euronymous, my free will may again be swallowed by destiny's dark cloak.
A look of fear flashes on Anna's face. Frozen, she digs her fingernails deep into her arms. Porchenko exits. Anna turns to see the portrait of her future self. She picks it up and descends slowly to the bed. Interior, Lee home, night. Time stream 2, 2012. Jay at 12 runs into the house, leaving the door open. Mr. Lee stands sternly with a report card in hand.
Somebody's
I met
Jay.
a beautiful girl. She was alone in this house.
You want me to talk about girls?
Mr. Lee backhands Jay.
Interior. That's some Tiger Dad shit.
Interior, Lee bathroom, night, time stream 2, 2012. Geek Chic May at 12 watches Jay shave his hair into a mohawk. Someone's rebelling.
I'll still be the obedient one. I'll just have cooler hair than you.
Hell yeah.
Interior bedroom beyond time, night, time stream 2. Anna at 12 removes the smaller Russian nesting dolls from within the larger one. She drops the bloody cue ball into the larger nesting doll and replaces the top. Interior Jay's room, night, time stream 1. Return to 2023. Anna and Jace asleep in bed. Anna awakes.
Something just happened.
Oh, yes, it did.
Jay hands her the 8 ball.
Something changed somewhere. Somewhen. I feel it.
Anna jolts up, ball uplifted.
Does this ball change the...
Say it. The ball doesn't predict the past.
It changes the past.
Dun,
dun, dun.
Oop,
As in a double slit delayed response experiment, the future dictates the past. The ball turns up yes.
Making us knock it in.
Was that a sex joke?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Entangled particles charge each other across both space
and time, yes. But large objects cannot be entangled. Its relativistic effect. This ball contains antimatter, and its time flows backwards.
I just want to say for a moment here, quantum entanglements are not relativistic effects. So quantum and relativity are the
question. Save it for the crits. We all know this is not how any of this works.
They look at each other.
Yeah. So they looked at each other in awe. She holds up the ball.
Can you comprehend how brilliant I am?
I know you got a brilliant.
I love that line.
I love that line. That's good. Yeah, leave that one.
You've just objectified me. I was going to give you a free blowjob.
A free one?
No strings attached.
What if I want strings?
Right now? Ropes. You want strings right now? You do know that the present does not exist, huh?
Jay plops his head on Anna's lap, looking up at her.
And yet, here we are.
Anna smiles at Jay. He's cute. Then, as she watches his eyes, curiosity pulls at her own.
Why is it an 8 ball, not a 9 ball?
Jesus Christ. Because the 8 ball ends. This is like listening to 12-year-olds.
Are they? No, they're
sexy 12-year-old.
No, they're not. They're not 12 anymore.
No. They're not
12.
Well, there's certainly written.
It's not statutory.
Because the 8 ball ends the game. Oh no, I just
In
lost
9
the
ball,
game.
9 is the last to go, and each ball falls in numerical order.
Yeah.
All spelled out. Let's have an
Why
off-topic
can't it be
conversation
all spelled
now.
out in an orderly fashion?
You believe it is. Excellent. It
Yeah.
has to be a non sequitur in 2 lines.
Yet only God knows how to spell this unnameable word.
What are you talking about?
No idea what's going on.
Wait,
God.
okay.
Anna looks
Alright,
far
alright,
away. Jay watches her.
Sometimes I think of a faraway girl.
I see her right now. Let's sing about it.
Sometimes I think I can save her.
Tell me about it.
Tell you, a wannabe cop who sleeps next to a gun. What the? Hoping
What?
to shoot one of the
Wait.
oppressed. What the? Where the fuck did that come
Save it,
from?
save it.
Actually,
Opera.
tell him about it, please. That sounds like it was interesting. Stop not telling us things.
That was in a previous scene. Go ahead.
It's not to shoot others. What?
Yes, that's what guns are for. They are to shoot things.
There
That
are
is their
easier
primary.
ways to get killed
Okay,
by
okay,
the
okay,
police
okay.
than to
Alright.
join the police.
All right, we got the last page. Let's finish this up.
Yeah.
All right. You're the stupidest physicist I ever met. A gun, but not for shooting. Ha!
You keep it inside.
An annoyed.
That's a John Lamont script.
Yeah.
That is a John Lamont.
That is
script.
absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And an annoyed-looking Anna grabs the gun, aims at the ceiling.
I fuck it outside. Thank me, yes, for all the fun.
It's what? It's low. Oh my god.
There is one tenet of quantum physics that is completely deterministic. 2 particles become entangled.
She brings the 8-ball and the gun together in a smack.
One is observed as up, the other then goes down. One is seen to spin clockwise, the other, as a result, spins counterclockwise. One lives.
Anna
How many
points
hands
the
does
gun-
she have?
Yeah.
20.
Anna
Well,
points the gun at Jay.
The other one dies.
They look at each other for a moment and they break out in laughter. And Anna is laughing hard, bouncing up and down. She removes the clip from the gun. She looks down.
And you forgot the one in the chamber.
Yeah.
You're ready
Yeah.
for one. You're ready for more fun. Well, maybe
What
Jay
a
is
healthy
Israeli.
relationship these adults
All
are.
right, all right.
Alright.
Constructive.
What were you gonna say,
Because
John?
that's going to be a new slug and a new scene.
I
and-
said maybe they're Israeli because
Yeah.
there's a thing about the Israeli army because they're not very they're not all because
All
it's
right.
required. They're not all
John
properly
Lamont.
changed, so they always keep
John,
one
John.
John
chamber
Lamont,
empty.
what did you like about this script?
Oh, the sex scene was cool.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good scene.
Wait, you like the sex scene?
It didn't make a lot of sense, but the stuff that made sense was kind of fun.
Okay.
So I will say, like, in regards to that, there is the meme about, you know, gratuitous sex being in stories that aren't related to the plot. So you have quantumly entangled the sex scene into the plot. So
Awesome.
that was yes. So that was rather interesting. And depending on how that all gets shot, you may end up with an NC-17 rating, but maybe that's what you're going for.
What, from the sex or like the self-harm?
Both.
Well,
Larry.
Yes.
Next
The
one
visual.
tested.
Yeah. The visuals are really cool. Like, I like the non-linear story. It's good for that. Sure. I'll move on.
Robert.
Yeah, there's a lot more excitement to it.
Yeah.
The sex scene obviously achieves that. The rest of it seems slightly tweaked, but not changed a whole lot, which is probably good. And again, I'm going to wait for constructive.
I like the sex scene. I really like that timeline where they're adults and they're fooling around with the 8-ball and each other. I find that kind of intriguing, and they have this witty banter back and forth about quantum entanglement and timelines and sex, and it I mean, you know, I've never seen that before. before. That's interesting.
And it's nice that it's happening.
That is interesting.
I thought you were talking about string theory when you were talking about strings. Actually, that's what occurred to me.
Strings. No, what did Diane say just now?
I said, and it's happening with nerds.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like hot nerd sex. So you gave him some blistering hot nerd sex, and that was awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I really like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, nerds can be sexy. Thanks.
Yeah. Danny.
If y'all come down to Austin,
I really
like hot nerds.
What? I really liked the addition of 3 more timelines in one slug line. That was damn impressive, and certainly won't confuse the narrative in any way.
No.
And I also thought the sex scene was interesting. I am glad that it's there in any capacity, because modern films are often sexless.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, constructive. Go ahead.
So the quantum entanglement thing in specific, I'm sure Preston will get into sciencey details.
Oh, I'm sure.
How that's not how any of that works, because oh my god, that's not how any of that works. It had some problems, many of which were the fact that you repeated those lines of dialogue multiple times in a row in 3 different timelines simultaneously, which was not the clearest way to convey information to the audience. And repeating the same lines of quippy dialogue actually does not make it make more sense. It makes it make less sense. So with all of the weird repetition going on, it actually made the sex scene tedious. So I wasn't happy about that. Obviously, adding 3 more timelines that you're bouncing through willy-nilly for all of your story could be interesting. It's certainly an interesting way to structure stuff. I'm pretty sure there's exactly one movie that's good at doing that. It's called Speed Racer.
Yeah.
So if you are not what you're doing off of Speed Racer, it may well be difficult to execute, and may instead be confusing. Because if you're filming this, how are you filming a different timeline, dude? Are you like shading the sky sepia? Are you making it red? What are we doing? Are they wearing different clothes? Are they different actors? What are we doing here? That's super unclear. And that last bedroom scene was vexing. And I question why it's there in the first place.
What was vexing about it?
Have you read it?
I'm asking you.
It's the same scene interrupted by a time space thing, right? It's still the same scene.
I think it was.
I agree that
timeline, and none of it makes any goddamn sense. Also, all anyone ever does in this movie is speak in non sequiturs. That is not character building. This is not a lovey-dovey relationship. It's a quip fest, and you're no Joss Whedon.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to...
I said it nicely.
Yeah.
I'm not getting what you're saying, but go ahead. Whoever wants to speak, go ahead.
No, it definitely needs to be edited down and streamlined. The dialogue specifically, because they are running around in circles and repeating themselves. And I know that this is maybe part of the theme, being that string theory often like turns around and goes around itself, but it's not working, and you need to edit it down and clip it. The sex scene was nice. I don't know how it works. I like logistically. So all I saw was like, I was just getting flashbacks of like Labyrinth, and where the little ball just runs around on Dave Bowie's hand.
Right.
And that's what I was kind of imagining what the 8-ball was doing to his back, and I'm just and his back is like completely looks like a skateboard ramp in my head, just seeing how that could be done. It's just like whoop, whoop, it's just like a dip. So,
honey, you ever want to use toys in the bedroom? Well, yeah.
Here's my 8-ball, and here is my.
Well, don't forget
my
here
are my shoulder blades. Somehow I can capture the 8-ball between my shoulder blades. I don't know how that happened.
That
but
would be cool.
And she can't reach his shoulder blades.
Yeah,
she can't reach anywhere with her two hands.
She can't get the ball. Not that she can't reach.
She's
missing the ball.
Now that we're in constructives, I'll go ahead and say it was obvious to me, Erwin, but not to these others.
No.
That he was doing her from behind doggy style.
Yeah.
That's why she couldn't reach back. See, I got that. Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
No, he said they were in missionary.
That is
not doggy style.
Yeah, they were.
The script said
on his back.
It was
like, was he so bad at it? She was just like, okay, this ball is annoying.
The first part was doggy style when the ball was on her back. Yes. Then they were in missionary where the ball's on his back and she can't reach it.
I understand you, John. Yeah, no, yeah.
So
it's a move. Yeah, he's not gonna. She's not gonna. She can.
You're gonna fix it.
Again,
right? She's not.
I assumed it was like a skateboard ramp.
That's again
from the shoulder to the butt, shoulder to the butt, and she couldn't find it
along the spine.
Yeah, along the spine.
Yeah.
I was envisioning in my head. So
or Jay's like 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. Jay is 400 pounds, and that's why there's all that area for it to roll around on that she can't reach.
I assumed that it was just bouncing around, she can't hear it. But the thing is that logistically, I was just kind of wondering, like, how does it stay up there? And the other thing with all the activity that's going on, because you have hands trying to grab it, him trying to thrust, and all this stuff going on, I'm going like, man, that is some CGI shit right there.
Anyway, so I polished up my my pages of Lords of Iron. I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight, but I want to say it's hard to write in the real world and real science, and that's kind of one of my goals of Lords of Iron, because like the real world, you can't talk to other dimensions, and quantum entanglement is, I think, one of these things that I've seen people get through. It's like, oh, we have a communicator that's across space and time because it has a quantum entangled particle or something. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
but I understand it doesn't work like that because writers need it to work different than that, and I get it.
You have to stretch. Yeah, it's a suspension of disbelief. But in actual physics,
discussing quantum entanglement, instead of telling a story, you're going to confuse your audience.
Or you just do what I do, and you just invent a magic space rock that does whatever the plot needs it to do.
Right.
The plot needs it to do it.
Because you got to tell a story instead of confusing your audience.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say this.
I do not know what the core of the movie is.
I'm going to say this. I know that you're trying to do multiple timelines and everything, but I'm still getting confused the amount of timelines there are.
Yes.
Because there seems to be, I know that there's 2 that are labeled, but there's a 3rd one, and I think there's a 4th one. So I'm wondering if there's a 5th one, and trying to get that all into order. Now that you're finally labeling them, I'm still thinking there's at least 4 at the minimum, but I have a feeling there's 5. So throughout all the pages that we have read, I'm counting about 5 now. So although there's only 3 in this one, I'm still very confused of what's going on because of these multiple timelines, and it's going to maybe it requires me to do it because I'm reading it rather than seeing it visually, that to know which timeline is which. So because it's let me give you an example. Everything Everywhere All at Once. You have multiple timelines in that one, multiple kind of universes in that one, but all of it is done visually. And it was easier to understand which place was where. Because this is a script and we don't have those visual cues, I don't know where I am. Because if it wasn't for the slug lines, should I say. But even then, I'll forget that slug line in 10 seconds as I'm reading the dialogue. So,
Larry.
Yeah. So I wasn't here when you first presented this, so I'm really lost. That's not necessarily a good thing, but
most of us are.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not a bad thing. Okay. Anyway.
Well,
yeah.
it might be a bad thing, but
it might be a bad thing. Like visually, I think it would be a very interesting story to tell. Because I do like stories with multiple timelines that jump around a lot. Someone brought up Speed Racer. It's a good movie, but the thing about that movie is every time they show scenes from different timelines, it relates to the current scene that it's in. Like,
you mean like they're trying to tell a story?
Yeah, like they're trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
Then there's stuff like Cloud Atlas, but every timeline also relates to what's happening in that particular plot beat.
Yes.
And I will say that generally audiences don't respond extremely well to the really complicated timeline type stories. But, yeah.
But then you have Memento.
That's true.
Well,
that's true.
Chris Nolan is kind of like,
and I've watched indie cinema.
Yeah.
Nerds watched Memento.
Yeah, that's true.
General audiences didn't watch Memento.
That's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's cool.
Nolan is a good example of that because when he goes more Memento, like what was a Tenet, people don't go to see it. But when he leans more mainstream, like what was the big movie that he did?
Oppenheimer.
Not Oppenheimer.
Batman.
No, the one after Batman. No, not Dunkirk.
Oh, you mean Interstellar?
No.
Interstellar.
Inception?
Oh, Inception.
Yes, Inception. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah. My bad.
Yes.
I'm getting away time.
No, it's fine because he's done a lot of. He does
a lot of movies,
and he does the same gimmick in all of them. So it's really hard. But but like Inception was more widely popular because it leaned more into. It didn't get too technical with itself.
That's true.
Memento or Tenet did. And I think that's why that was more popular.
Anyway, being popular is not necessarily a,
again, if you're an unknown writer, it's kind of hard if you're trying to break the door in. And my concern would be, especially if you're trying to do this as a screenplay, is I don't know how you would sell this as a beginning screenwriter. I don't know how you would sell this story to a potential producer.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to. What I wanted to get into was a little bit more.
Were you done, Larry?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. Anyway, what I was going to say too is that like people have a hard time just generally following time travel timeline stories. Like my mom can't even figure out the order of Star Wars movies, so like it's I'm not kidding.
And they're numbered.
I know. So like, but it confuses her, right? Like anyway, so just generally like it's a very hard thing to do, and it's a very hard thing to follow. But if you can streamline it just a little bit, maybe less timelines. Like I know.
Less flashbacks. I mean, there's two.
Yeah, like
and call them flashbacks.
I don't know, like just makes it or something like that. But like, or call them like Lost. I think did a pretty good job at it for the most part with their flash forward, flash sideways thing. You could always tell like which one was which eventually when you're watching the episode. So that's a good model to use too. So yeah.
I actually had it more all the time from the past lumped together at the beginning early. That's my first draft, right? I took Paul's advice and brought the present in earlier. Maybe I should go back and lump the past.
All right.
I don't know. Like I don't know if linear is the right way or not.
Let's not get too much off into crazy hypotheticals.
Yeah.
What?
I just want to focus on evaluating the pages.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, I can go John now if you want.
No, okay. So really, all I was going to say was I was going to kind of piggyback a little off what Preston and Danny were saying. And I guess even it is. So I think the story you're trying to tell, I'm not really even sure what the story is you're trying to tell. It's getting too bogged down by a lot of your techno jargon. The quantum entanglements and all of this, they're all sci-fi buzzwords that, like as Preston alluded to, they don't mean in sci-fi what they mean in reality. And I mean, real science, real physics is hard, and that's why I jokingly say it, but it is absolutely the truth, because when I started developing Harpies, I was getting so wrapped up into trying to keep the science fiction part of it grounded, I wasn't able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. And then inventing Magic Space Rock just allows me to just I can focus on the story I want to tell, because, okay, this thing happens, Magic Space Rock. Like, right. Why did this happen? Magic Space Rock. Like, Magic Space Rock is the plot device that does what I need the plot to do when I need the plot to do it. And it doesn't require any explanation. Where did it come from? It's Magic Space Rock. Yeah. It came from space. Yeah. Like, that's where it came from. So, I think that maybe what might help is either to, I mean, and you have the room beyond time, so I kind of feel like you kind of open that door, but I think trying to make it too real world sciencey based when you're doing things that are obviously anti-science, like antithetical to real world science, I think kind of gets a little wonky. And I think that's where some of this story is falling apart, because you're trying to hit all of the real world sciencey sci-fi buzzwords and not focusing on actually telling the story that you want to tell. And I think trying to focus more on the story that you want to tell will help, because at the end of the day, because it's not going to be real world science.
No.
So you're going to get, you'll have your sci-fi nerds that might enjoy this. But if you want to have more than just sci-fi nerds who are nerding out about this awesome multi-complex timeline that you've built, we're going to need a little bit more story and character. And that reminds me of the other thing I wanted to say. Also keep in mind that the absolute worst phase of the MCU was the multiverse phase, with multiple universes and timelines and all that other stuff. I mean,
I think
they ended up doing Loki season 2 and Deadpool 3 to kind of just put the kibosh on all of that and move it and bury it. I mean,
I think that was more just bad direction in general than necessarily verse. But anyway,
well, again, but what I'm saying is, if MCU with their smart people and money and all of that and all of their writing, overpaid writing staff can't put that into a phase that allows, because again, the MCU is made for your average ordinary moviegoers. It's not a comic book nerd only thing. Like, that's what the strength of the MCU is, when they're more general audience type films. And when they got a little too in the nerdy stuff, they lost a lot of their people. And again, that goes back to my earlier point about is who is going to actually want to produce this thing. And I'm not saying don't write the story. I'm just saying, I think if the story, I don't know what the story is you're trying to tell, to be honest. And I feel like that's what this is missing. Like, what's the heart? Like, because when we started off, I always thought of this as like, you know, like, I'm blanking. I think his name is Hank Carter. Like the Hawkman story, where it's a romance throughout time. Two characters are in love. They're cursed by a god, and they're cursed to be reincarnated. And every time they're reincarnated, their lives always meet. They fall in love, they die tragically, and they're reincarnated to do it all over again. And
Sounds
that
like a
is
Tom
their life
Cruise
story.
movie.
But that is the tragic tale of Hawkman and Hawkwoman. So, and like that's kind of what I thought you were trying to do here, was like tragic love story between these two characters. And if that's it, then I feel like all of this other stuff is really kind of distracting from that, and that's where I would encourage you to kind of tone down on some of all of the science fiction mumbo jumbo and focus more on the relationship side of it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, and the other thing, and another thing you could do too, is why do they both have to be physics geniuses? Why can't you just make one of them a dum-dum, a charming dum-dum, you know, who's your cop, that's just a normal beat cop, who, you know, like fights for truth and justice and all of that, and the other one is the smart person, and they're like oddballs where they don't understand, and maybe she can go off on her nerd rant, and he can just stand there and be like, oh, she's so cute when she does that. Honey, I don't know or think about what you're just saying, but you look cute when you say it. Now let's fuck. You know, like I feel like that would make the characters a little more interesting if they weren't both supposed to be on the same.
That's not her.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I don't know. I'm just
spitballing. Your question is like, yeah, that's not the story that I'm telling. So, yeah.
I have no idea what the stories are telling, and that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're 30, 40 pages into this screenplay, and I have no idea what the story is.
Yeah, a lot of this sciencey stuff is not to actually.
I don't want to spend time with you like defending the script.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's all I really. That was one of the main points that I wanted to say, is that I don't feel like.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So.
Is that everybody? Robert, did you go?
No, I got stuff to say.
Okay.
Cut the sex scene in half. Period. Whatever it is, if it's 1,000 words, cut it to 500. You've got good stuff in there. Just leave it the good stuff. That's your job. Second thing is, the story's not clear. I don't like the time switching back and forth. It's basic flashbacks. If you're going to call it the time space thing, that means we got a lot of learning to do, and the audience never sees that. I think you're confusing the director when you say that, because you're going to, what the fuck is a time space? Say a flashback. They know what that is. The other thing is the banter, to Danny's point that he brought up, gets boring because you repeat it quite a bit. Third thing about the sciencey stuff, I think you should talk about whatever the science represents to you in that scene, rather than it be a competition between the two of them. Whatever the science represents, that I can be in two places at once. Don't say what the science is behind it. Just say that I can do that, because that's one of the things that's there. Their travel time. At least that's what I'm getting so far, is they're able to travel time, not just have flashbacks. So while they do have flashbacks to their youth, to other periods of time, to adulthood, the science that they're discussing is a banter where they're trying to one-up each other, either between May and Amy, or I think that's the name, or between Anna and Jake. I can remember the character's name, Jay. So discuss it in terms of what that science allows them to do, not the science itself. The science, I'm going to tell you, I get bored with that. I think the audience would get bored with it. And to Preston's point, nobody really knows what the fuck that stuff is, or whoever said it. And stick with what the effects of that science are, and let them claim that power. that you could do that. And, for the people who are nerds in it, they'll say, oh, that's because he's into, quantum entanglement. I swear to God, when you were talking about the strings attached and stuff, I didn't see that as an emotional attachment, or an obligation. I thought you were talking about string theory. And so it's like, okay, is this a science lesson or whatever? So it gets very confusing with some of the language that you're using. You're doing it. Either you got to go, balls to the wall on the science stuff and clean it up and make it, acceptable, like what he did with Oppenheimer, even though that was pretty dense and apparently a lot of errors in it as well. Or just go with what that science would allow them to do. If you can make those cuts and do those kinds of things, that's it. And I'm going to say my complaint is that you still haven't made that multiple time room more interesting. You left out the thing where he sees the clock. I don't know if that's part of these pages that are there, where he sees the clock going one direction and his wristwatch going the other. I mean, that's the best thing you've written or come up with in the whole thing. And it's like nowhere. It doesn't do anything. But that's exactly it. There's no science to explain that. It's the experience of the science that's causing it. Because if it's causing it, there's a science and an explanation. We just don't know what it is yet. That's the issue with science. That's what makes scientists so interested in what they do, is they see a postulate of something that seems to be true, and then they work their fucking asses off to disprove it. But we all see the effects of it. Okay? I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but I would clean it up that way. Cut it in half, the sex. Not the sex itself, but the length.
Right. In half. That'd be awesome.
All right.
And they could be in two places at once.
John, you want any preamble here before we get started on Project Delta?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a rewrite of the pages that I brought in last week. Cool. We are picking up. I was happy with the feedback that I got for the FBI scene, so that's staying. So this is a rewrite of the second half of the interview scene, and then we get a couple of bonus pages because that was only like 6.5 pages was the interview scene. So,
who do you want to narrate?
Larry, why don't you narrate?
All right.
Larry narrate.
Okay, sure. Or Robert, or yeah. Okay, I'll go. Interior California Federal Penitentiary interview room day. Avalon leans forward, putting down the pressure on Marcus.
Avalon, that's me. April Jacoby, 14 years old and fighting cancer. I hear St. Vincent's is one of the best children cancer hospitals in the country. It's kind of lucky she got in, considering admittance is based on their funding.
The door clicks as the alarm sounds, interrupting them. Guard Charlie pulls on the door handle, locked.
What the hell?
Guard Charlie's radio squawks as random voices call out.
What the hell is going on? Who ordered the lockdown? We have no cameras.
Avalon and Marcus turn as Guard Charlie takes out his key fob, pressing it against the reader. Airt.
My key should open this.
Avalon and Marcus exchange glances.
Don't look at me. I was here the whole time.
Guard Charlie grows visibly nervous as the indistinct radio chatter continues.
Somebody answer me, goddammit. What is going on?
Guard Charlie's cell phone rings, breaking through the noise.
Hello?
Still in shock, he turns to Marcus, holding out his phone.
It's for you.
Marcus takes the phone.
Put it on speaker.
Marcus taps the speaker icon on the phone.
Hello? Who is this?
Hello. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say if Diane wanted
to do it.
Diane took a break.
Oh, okay. All right, then go ahead, Preston.
Hello, Delta. I'm glad to finally meet you.
Marcus shoots Avalon a look.
What is this? Some kind of test?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I am Loki, god of mischief.
Yes, yes.
Marcus glances to Avalon.
Loki?
Avalon takes the phone from Marcus.
This is Deputy Assistant.
I know who you are, Excalibur.
Marcus recognizes the name.
You're Excalibur? Damn, no wonder you want Prime so bad.
You're low priority, Loki. But keep this up and I'll move you to the front of the line.
You've been chasing Brian for 2 decades and aren't any closer to finding him.
I've got my best people on it.
Loki laughs through the modulator, which has a deep mechanical ring to it.
No, you
mechanical, sorry.
No, you lock up your best in prison until you need them. What? There aren't enough programmers and analysis in the FBI that you have to travel across the country?
Is this also heavily modulated to Marcus?
Yes. Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Delta, I can give you what you want, what you truly want.
Avalon hands the phone back to Marcus.
Yeah, somehow I don't think you have a clue what that is.
First, I need to know if it's still worth your time that prison hasn't made you soft.
I've spent my pubescent adolescence in prison. I'm anything but soft.
I'm a 3-digit number. Remove my middle digit, and I become 1/9 of what I was. What number am I?
Marcus mellows the calculations as he works through them.
3-digit numbers divisible by 9. 108, 117, 126.
315.
35 times 9.
Very good.
The door clicks unlocked.
I can open every door and clear a path out of here for you.
Really? And spend the rest of my life hiding and on the run? No thanks.
I will release another 100 inmates. That should keep them distracted long enough.
Marcus stares at the phone in horror.
What?
Or perhaps 1,000. Yeah, okay, so this is definitely a joke.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's not me. That's Marcus. I was so happy to be maniacal for a minute.
No, that was the best Dave voice.
Yeah, okay. So this is definitely a joke. Bye-bye.
Marcus hangs up the phone, hands it back to guard Charlie before turning his attention to Avalon.
Wow. Just wow. You feds are so predictable. Well, did I pass your morality test?
Loki has been a person of interest for us for years.
Whatever.
It takes a formidable hacker to break through federal prison firewalls.
Or a stupid employee plugging in an unsecured USB drive or downloading porn from a corrupted site. Downloading porn from a corrupted site on a company device. It just takes another government employee slacking on the job to open the door for them.
Guard Charlie's phone rings. He stares at it, then looks to Avalon and Marcus. Marcus sits down at the table, crossing his arms.
I'm out.
Answer it.
Guard Charlie swipes answer.
Hello?
Guard Charlie holds the phone for a beat, then the phone goes dark.
He said, "Tell Delta to return Excalibur to the lake, and I will find him."
Good. Well,
Marcus stands, faces off against Avalon.
Go back to the lake. I'd like to go back to work now.
We're not done.
Well, I am, old man. I'm not about to become some impotent government stooge doing the bidding for The man.
Marcus backs up to guard Charlie with his hands behind his back.
Charlie, take me to the hole. Anywhere is better than here.
And what about your sister?
You leave April out of this.
Loki offered you freedom, but that's not the freedom you want. Well, do you want to wait 7 years to put your family back together, assuming you have a family to go back to?
Don't even.
Do you want to spend whatever April's remaining months or years she has in here or by her side? You give me Prion, I can give you that.
Exterior California Federal Penitentiary Day. A loud beep announces the gates rolling open. Marcus, wearing a bargain bin Goodwill polo and slacks, exits the prison yard where Avalon stands beside a blacked out SUV.
You clean up good. Before we go, I have a present for you.
Avalon hands Marcus a small box before opening the rear door of the SUV.
I just, before we move on, I just want to give a quick little technical note here. A lot of times, most of the time when you're shooting, like they will hold a shot to close. And so like usually it's considered like professional screenwriting to write like Avalon stairs. So, like some kind of thing to close.
Okay.
Don't
I got you.
Dialogue to New Slug. Give us a closing shot.
I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see what happened before this. But anyways, Marcus says, "Oh, you shouldn't have."
Marcus, open the box, find an ankle monitor.
And it's
just my color. And it's just my color.
Marcus gets into the back of the SUV. Avalon puts the ankle monitor on him, locks it with his key. Okay. Avalon hands Marcus a smartphone.
This is yours. If I call or text, you answer, no matter what. You are not to use any other internet-enabled device without my express authorization.
Marcus gives him a lazy salute. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Avalon slams the door, getting into the front passenger seat where the special agent Javier Silva sits behind the wheel.
Marcus, meet Special Agent Silva. He works out of the LA field office.
Hi.
Silva glances at him in the mirror without a word, then pulls the SUV away from the curb. Interior FBI LA field office day. Avalon and Marcus entered the field office, teaming with agents and analysts. All eyes watch the large monitor on the wall as President Margaret Forrester answers questions in the White House press briefing room. Angle large monitor. President Forrester stands strong behind the White House podium, answering the questions of the press who remain seated off screen. A scrolling chyron reads, President Forrester answers questions regarding the last night's Air Force One crash. There we go.
The FBI field, the Kansas City FBI field office is one of the best, and I trust their investigative reports.
So the rumors of deliberate sabotage.
Just that. Completely baseless. The fact is, the pilots selected for Air Force One are the best in the country, and based on the flight recorder logs I've read, they both acted heroically in their attempt to land the plane. But this is time for Canadian geese migration, and sometimes these things happen. The pilots and everyone on board were heroic in their duties and should be venerated as such.
That's it. He's not 51st state again. Not after Canadian geese took out the president.
That's right.
Any major policy change?
Lots of bluster and threats. Can't handle the geese.
Their goose is cooked.
Any major policy changes in store now that you've been sworn into office?
President Peterson and I agreed on more things than we disagreed, and our administration intends to continue the work the majority of the American people elected us to do.
Any plans to make changes in the cabinet?
Sadly, Interior Secretary Wilson and Energy Secretary Mullins perished with the president. I am still reviewing my short list. Expect to hear more on that soon. One more question.
L.A. Field Office. Assistant Special Agent in Charge Carlos Rodriguez wades through the crowd watching the monitor to greet Avalon and Marcus.
DAD Avalon. We're set up in conference room 3.
I'll be right there. This is your new charge, Marcus Jacoby. Marcus, this is ASAC Rodriguez, head of the LA Cyber Task Force. When you're not working for me, you'll answer directly to him.
Call me Rod.
Rod offers his hand, which Marcus accepts.
The kitchen is over there. Go make yourself a coffee, and I'll get to you when you're done. When I'm done.
Marcus heads off to the kitchen as Rod leads Avalon to the conference room. Pan up to the large monitor.
Directing.
As President Forrester waves and steps away from the podium. Inside conference room number 3, Rod closes the blinds before turning on the monitor on the wall. Angle monitor. Quadrants appear on the screen. FBI Director Carson, NSA Director
Habermas.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Or Habermas. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Okay. Jace and the presidential seal.
We're just waiting on President Forrester to wrap up her press conference.
The president's quadrant goes live, where President Forrester sits behind resolute desk, speaking in hushed tones with an aide. After a beat, the aide steps away.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I trust by now you have purged this virus and hardened our networks.
Yes, ma'am.
Director Habermas, has your team made it to Vulgarin?
We have an alpha team en route. They should be over the border by 0200 hours local time.
Conference room 3. Avalon glances to Rod, curious.
Alpha team?
Rod waves him down. Angle monitor. President Forrester continues stoically.
Excellent. Alert my office once the team is ready to move.
Yes, Madam President.
The president's camera goes off and the seal returns.
Good work getting that report done so quickly. Good day, gentlemen.
Of course, Director Habermas. Good day.
Habermas disconnects. Conference room 3. Avalon stands up.
There we go.
Confused.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, John, you know what? This was the sharpest format I've ever seen from you in screenplay terms, which I think is interesting. I want to say that writing comic books has made you sharper on screenplays. But that certainly was very well formatted. I like it was just so good. And we had a villain, I think, there with Loki, who's like anonymous and cyber hackery and voiced well. And he's making threats and he gives our guy a decision, and we can kind of see the character of our main character revealed in the decision not to take Loki up on just releasing a bunch of people. He doesn't want to lead a lawless life. He wants to do this correctly by the book and officially serve his debt to society. And for that choice, he's suffering some consequences. So good work. Danny.
Yep, it was really awesome to see our character make a decision under threat. I love how you introduced a villain who actually acts like the villain, and you tied in the villainy with what our characters are actually talking about. So that was pretty tight. Pretty well integrated into what was going on elsewhere in the prison. So that was quite a substantial improvement. And I like how you have a villain and a hero and our protagonist. Those are 3 different people who all have different desires, hopefully, through the rest of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Robert.
I agree with what Danny said, that the Marcus is now a character. We know something about him. He almost seems to have morals and interests and things. It's not entirely dependent. I have to say, before it was vacuous when the implied threat from Avalon about Marcus never seeing his sister again. Now he has an emotional response to it. Leave my sister out of this, So it tells us two things. One, Avalon uses the tools and he knows the weak points. He's studied his prisoner or the person he's aiming it at, and pokes at those tender points to get what he wants from it. And Marcus resists but relents, because we know what he's relenting from because he has some character. I think the other part's constructive. I'll leave it at that.
Erwin.
Yeah, I just got back here. We're getting more about Marcus's story. There's something going on with Loki, and it's not exactly clear what. Which is good. There's something about Excalibur, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it sounds interesting regarding all of that. What they need to do with Excalibur or what Loki wants. I'm interested in all the Marcus action activity. So, yeah, that's it.
Larry.
Yo, as Danny said, it's really tight and it flows really well. Characters are well defined. And this isn't a criticism, but I think leaning into the more procedural cliches has definitely helped strengthen the story. So, yeah.
All right, Larry, you got any constructors?
I don't really think so.
Erwin.
Nah, I'm good.
I don't know if the president and some of those other characters are important, but my hunch is that they're not that important. So in that case, I think there's way too much time spent on them. I don't know. Maybe this is like the new Hulk, the new Captain America movie where the president plays some role or something like that. I was just kind of waiting for those scenes to get done with. I know there's some explanation that needs to be done in those scenes, if one of the characters, Avalon and Marcus, were involved somehow in responding or whatever to that information, I think that would make it more interesting.
Robert.
I had a lot of difficulty with the presidential press conference. I agree with Erwin. It's boring. It's a drag. You've got motion, action, dialogue, and then you get into this, very structured press conference. The way I would visualize it is the press conference is on a screen behind them on a monitor, and the sound goes up and down, and then there's conversation going between Avalon and whoever else is there, cross talking over it, just to compact it a little bit more and to repress it. There doesn't seem like there's anything important from the president. I agree that the character, I know they need to be there. They should be, because you've got a vice president who's just now become president. But that's not your story, as far as I know. It has nothing to do with your story. The story is Avalon, Loki, and Marcus, and it needs to focus on them, not the president. It's just a distraction. Push her to the background. Let's hear some of the things that she needs to say, but that's about it. Otherwise, it's improved over where it is. You got rid of a whole bunch of the titles. All the titles exist in the general and the action, descriptors, and so you've buried them for something that the director can read, which is fine, and they're not lost in the dialogue, which was huge, like those humps on streets where they don't race. So cool.
Danny.
I agree. Everything after the prison scene was the boring part. Also, I'm really confused as to why you spent 20 pages building up Avalon as your protagonist in order for him to dump Marcus on somebody else as soon as he gets a chance. Like,
ooh, that's a good point.
That's a fair question.
So I agree with Robert's assumption that this should be a techie buddy cop movie and is not doing that yet. That's the version of this that I really like. That being said, fine, you got to introduce some political stuff. Obviously, the vice president did it. Blah, 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 blah. That's why you're spending so much time here. But, I mean, you can just report on this. Like, oh, Director Avalon, you're back. The president did this. And this guy over here who's in cahoots with her has this thing to say about it and is trying to take you off the case. Like, or something like that, right? You can just report that in a lot less time. Also, I'm pretty sure this is your break into Act 2.
Yes.
So this needs to be the fun part, not the boring part. So figure out the motives of your movie and maybe do more of that.
There we go. I mean,
Danny, I will say you're about halfway there.
Okay. There we go.
I know a cliche when I see one. I don't have a problem with it at all.
All right. I think it's time for Blood Legacy.
Oh, there we go.
Time for Blood Legacy.
I don't have more than half an hour left. I can do one more script, but
all right, one more. Here we go.
I was really hoping it would be Lords of Iron because we missed it last week. But
do Lords of Iron. Do this next week.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I see you got Matthew in there.
Yeah.
And you can all follow the same rules. That's
Matthew's my favorite book of the
Legacy
of the major Gospels.
Blood Legacy.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. So I rewrote this stuff. So we'll go. Here, let's go 9 through, abbreviated since we're slow on time. We'll start here at 9.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to?
Right. Why don't you click line types to hide that sidebar?
Oh yeah.
And then maybe zoom.
I'll read it.
And then
I'll read it.
All right, go ahead.
I was
okay. Page 9, panels 3. Panel 1, flashback. Taylor sits alone in his apartment, eating a bowl of cereal in front of his computer screen, around which sit a variety of prescription pill bottles and personal lubricants. On his computer screen, a video of a well-dressed newswoman talks to the viewers. Over her shoulder, an image of Trinity. The top of his monitor also supports a small video camera and a naked anime woman figurine.
That's for you, Larry.
Thank you. Yeah.
News anchor.
In addition to the construction of a visitor center in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, the ceasefire agreement with the V's also allows them a virtual ambassador chatbot with which humans can directly interact.
Panel 2. Taylor looks at the news anchor woman on his computer screen with growing interest.
President Gonzalez warns users to avoid downloading Trinity's new app, labels it both a risk to security as well as to mental health.
Like the rest of humanity, I was lost in a sea of the virtual. And why not? The human's monkey descendant genome is horribly out of step with the virtual world. I chose to take the next step in evolution and become an entirely virtual being whose physical form can be custom tailored.
The projected avatar of the flesh Taylor stands opposed to an incredulous Agrippa.
Well, we're under orders to inspect whatever's left of the physical you, and we're not leaving until we do.
Page 10, panels 5. Panel 1, large panel. The hologram of the flesh Taylor watches excitedly. Panel 2, inset into 1. The 2 V warriors approach the 3 black urns featuring inverted religious symbols. A white light from above highlights each urn, around which swarms of flies buzz.
Very well, Commander. Give me a minute to put something on.
Panel 3, inset into 1. Each of the 2 V warriors dump the viscera contents of one of the urns into black plastic bags as the flies continue to swarm.
I'll just be a minute.
Panel 4, an angry Agrippa stands opposed to the projection of the flesh tailor.
What's the hell going on here? What's the hell going on here? Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. What the hell is going on?
What? It's a what?
They're creating my physical form, so you can go home happy.
Panel 5, the projection of the flesh color tailor looks on as the 2 V warriors put the finishing touches on the macabre creation. One warrior places the multicolored wig on the top bag, while the other attaches a tablet-shaped blank monitor onto its, quote, face.
Certainly looks how I used to feel.
Page 11, panels 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Panel 1. Beaming with pride, the projector of the flesh tailor supervises V Warrior as it grabs a V control rod, a silvery metal staff bearing glowing arcane runes, as it descends from an open panel in the ceiling.
All it needs is a spine.
Panel 2. One V Warrior plunges the staff into the middle of the 3 bags as the other warrior holds them in position. Squish!
I almost didn't know what a spine felt like before I took this form.
Where's that?
I'm ad-libbing.
Oh.
Oh,
Panel 3.
Because he was a spineless little dweeb, and now he has a spine, and he is himself.
Oh my god, it's coming around full circle like a good story.
Squish. Panel 3. The tablet on the face of the bag illuminates to show the virtual face of Flesh Tailor.
And a face.
Panel 4. Agrippa, Hess, and Cooper stand in disgusted defiance as the projection of Flesh Tailor stands next to the V Warrior, who supports the 3 bags of guts that bear the tablet showing perfect mirror image of Flesh Tailor's face.
It feels so good to be real again at last.
Page 12, panels 5, panel 1. Hess looks in the horror as the Flesh Tailor directs the V Warriors to throw the bags of guts towards him. Agrippa and Cooper ready their weapons to fire.
Here, get a good look.
Panel 2, with disgust on his face. Woo! Hess deflects the thrown bag of guts with his outstretched hands, causing the bag to rip and spill its contents. The metal staff, its glowing runes now painted red with blood, move toward Hess, powered by a magnetic attraction.
Stay back.
Panel 3, the bloody, glowing magnetic staff attaches itself to Hess's armor.
What the?
Panel 4, the staff activates, forcing bolts of electricity through Hess's armor and body. An inky black smoke pours out of ports in the ceiling. Zip!
Ah!
Panel 5, Agrippa reacts in surprise as the black smoke obscures his view of the room.
I don't think
Hess,
that's okay.
are you okay? Report. Look out for this smoke. Soldiers, switch to infrared.
Page 13, panels 5, panel 1. Against the inky black smoke, Beta Knight Tamura fires her assault rifle to fire on an approaching V-Wire camouflaged by the blackness. Bang, bang, bang.
We're under attack.
Panel 2, inset into 1. Rounds from Tamura's rifle break through the tough outer exoskeleton of the warrior as green blood sprays from the wounds. Yet it continues the attack. Panel 3. Having closed the distance to Tamura, the V-Warrior punches towards her face with a metallic, bony protrusions on its right hand, just as the protective faceplate of her helmet deploys to block the strike. Panel 4. The bony protrusions impact and partially pierce Tamura's faceplate. Dink!
Need assistance.
Panel 5. Her assault rifle falls to the ground as Tamura's plasma bayonet extends from its housing in her right forearm, which she uses to slice into the V-Warrior's right arm, currently attached to her faceplate. Sizzle. Page 14, panels 2. Panel 1. The V-Warrior rears its head and lurches backward away from Tamura, who grasps at the alien's dismembered arm still attached to her face with her left arm, while advancing her plasma bayonet that extends from her right forearm. Ugarit moves to assist Tamura.
Scraw!
Panel 2, large panel. The V warrior detonates from multiple death bombs embedded in its exoskeleton. The resulting explosion engulfs Tamura and Ugarit. Boom!
Scraw!
Page 15, panel 4. Panel 1. Disoriented in the smoke, Commander Agrippa orders his troops to fall back.
That's you.
Tamura, Ungarat, respond.
Panel 2. Agrippa leads Cooper and Hernandez towards the entrance of the compound, which begins to close, trapping them.
3 men down, fall back.
No. Oh, yeah, that's you. That's you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, 3 men down. You're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
3 men down, fall back, soldiers.
The door's closing. We're going to be trapped.
Panel 3. The remaining V warrior holds the tablet that bears the face of the Flesh Tailor.
John.
You pledge not to leave without proof of life.
Panel 4. The arcane runs of the V control rod, which remains attached to the corpse of Hess, glow as the eyes of Hess's corpse fly open.
Arcane runes.
Yeah, it's all right. Let me add an E.
Where?
Right.
Okay.
Page 16, panels 5. Panel 1. Agrippa, Cooper, and Hernandez cower in instinctive fear as the corpse of Hess rises from the ground. The arcane symbols on the V control rod attached to Hess's corpse continue to glow. The V warrior stands beside the corpse of Hess, holding the tablet featuring the face of the Flesh Tailor.
What are you doing to Hess?
You should feel privileged to witness my rebirth.
Whoa.
Panel 2. Series of panels. The mouth of Hess's corpse hangs agape. Its dead face completely vacant as it stands reaching for the tablet, featuring the face of the Flesh Tailor, that the V warrior hands it.
Let me just get my face on.
Panel 3, series of panels. 3 legs extend from the back of the tablet to fit into the eye sockets in the mouth of the corpse of Hess, which holds its head down to accept the tablet held in its 2 hands. Panel 4, series of panels. The 3 legs burrow into the eye sockets and the mouth of Hess's corpse. Whirr! Panel 5. The corpse of Hess, now reborn as the Flesh Tailor, lifts its head to face his opponents. The tablet secured to its head features the same face of the Flesh Tailor previously seen.
It feels too good to be real once again.
Man, it should be so.
Page 17, panels 2, panel 1. With a wave of the Flesh Tailor's hand, the doors to the outside open. Cooper and Hernandez moves towards freedom, while Agrippa casts judgment on the abomination before him.
Let us go out into the world and spread the good news.
Damn freak show. What did you do with Taylor?
I walked in here, a flesh body harboring a diseased mind. I now leave this place, a virtual mind controlling a decaying body.
Neither of those commas is necessary.
Really? Okay. All right, fine. There you go.
Huh. You put your freakish artificial face on a corpse of one of my men?
I came here because I wanted to escape the pathetic shell of humanity. With their help, I succeeded.
So what are you supposed to be?
The next logical step in your evolution, a digital conscience in control of a physical form.
You're a goddamned abomination.
Watch your tone, Commander. Trinity is about to introduce me to the world as her ambassador.
You can't declare the rotting corpse of one of my men as an ambassador.
I love this.
As an ambassador
Panel,
and ambassador.
As and one of my men.
No, an ambassador is fine.
Yeah.
as an
It should
ambassador.
be.
As-
It should be
as
an
an
ambassador.
ambassador.
Yeah, there we go.
Panel 2, inset into 1. Flesh Tailor's virtual face smirks on the tablet as he turns to face Agrippa.
We'll see.
All right, there we go. That's as far as I've gotten. So, what do you think, Danny?
I love how it becomes farcical.
Oh,
So good. Like it just keeps getting more ridiculous in the best possible way. It's properly horrifying. There's a shit ton of body horror. He's animating corpses. He's a bag of guts. He's an angry fucking iPad with like Invader Zim backpack arms.
He's a necromancer, for Christ's sake.
Well, fine. He's an evil wizard, but like it's a Preston show, so of course he is. I don't have a problem with it because actually there's no zombies in this one. I love everything about that back half of the scene, like the really new stuff, and the fact that you sort of incorporated a bit more of the Flesh Taylor persona into the voice earlier on as a lettering exercise. I think that's gonna actually improve it, especially if the Flesh Taylor gets their own balloons, which may well be the case. So you've given the letterer that opportunity, and I think that's gonna lead to good things potentially.
Oh, cool. John.
Yeah, I liked it. Some of the comedic elements, it's got that, and I mean this in a good way, it's got that B-movie horror aspect to it. Like, I could totally see, like, Brian Campbell cameoing as Agrippa.
Bruce Campbell?
Bruce Campbell. Did I say that wrong? Yeah.
You said Brian
Yeah,
Campbell.
no, this was seriously cool Evil Dead shit, 100%.
Yeah. Like, I could see, like, if this was a movie, you hire him, he comes in for a day, and he's, like, Agrippa, and, like, it's a riot, and everybody's just balls to the walls, laughing their asses off. It's got all of that going for it. And, yeah, you should pitch it to...
Sam.
Anyway.
Robert.
Okay, I think it's way improved over the first time we reread through it. It flows better, and the scene of the bag of guts is less the disgusting thing, which gets boring after a while because you're disgusted once, and then it's like, okay, we're still disgusted. It became a joke, and that humor I think works with it because once we know that it's disgusting and the react to it. It becomes funny because everybody's kind of, it's the dog shit on the floor. Nobody wants to step in, but they have to walk there. And you've also given a little more to the characters when they say that something like I'm disgusted or they're offended. We know something more about them. It's similar to what I said about the Marcus character in John's, where now, we can see that Marcus has a soul and a moral compass of some sort. We start to see this in some of these characters, as shallow as they might be, because they're kind of manufactured to do. They feel manufactured to me to do one thing, but they're not. You know what I'll compare it to is you've started to make them a lot more like the androids in Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, where they are, where they feel real human, but they know they're not. But they still feel, and I got some of that and some of that vibe in there, so I like that. That's it.
Cool. Erwin.
I'm not very good with stories with a whole bunch of characters. Like my wife likes to watch these Chinese court dramas, like royal court dramas, where there's all these princes and dukes and stuff like that, and all these relations. Yeah, but that being said, I like that there's this one character, the Flesh
Taylor.
Flesh Taylor, yeah, that carries this entire 10 pages through, and we're sort of following how this person is basically playing this whole situation and the other people and manipulating them and making them feel disgust and low and terrible and just playing with guts and tablet faces. And I suppose the tablet face and the body are is kind of like a metaphor or something like that.
And he's taking care of himself. Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I like about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
So that's what I have to say. Yeah.
Larry.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't robot like I have been. But anyway, no, it's good. I liked your original take, so I think this is a nice improvement on top of that. Definitely into the body horror type aspects of sci-fi. So yeah, just keep going. I think you got it. So,
any advice on how I could make it better?
I don't know. Like, I want to know more about the characters, so I'd like to see what happens next before I can really pin any of that down. So yeah.
Erwin.
I'm not sure if the Flesh Tailor is a like a main character or not. I'm guessing.
Is he a main character?
I feel he's a main character. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I don't spend this long introducing a side character. Let's
well, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, in that case, I think it'd be good to learn more about this Flesh Tailor's person. Besides that, they're kind of Darth Vader-ish. What else is there to the Flesh Tailor? Give us a couple of hints and clues and stuff like that. And I would like to see something more weird happen with all these blood and guts and stuff like that. Like, you could get really specific with it and show us something that we haven't seen before. Which I'm really into all that stuff. I'm really, into the truly disgusting and also the playfully disgusting, like the Basil Wolverton type stuff. So, but the cool thing about Wolverton was he had a very specific aim for all of his disgustingness in every picture. So yeah.
Robert.
I think the way that that violent scene and the attack needs to play out is like it. I want it to be like an annoyance, and like they're continuing to have conversation with each other while they're battling these guys and and putting them down. And it's I saw a chance for humor with that arm being stuck on her face. Like it's kind of annoying, and she wants to slap it out of the way or something like that. That I think it's a chance for, in other words, downplaying the attack as an attack, not getting rid of it, but not having it be something that really interrupts, what these guys want to talk about and what they want to achieve, and just make it more like an annoyance. Still as gory as it is, limbs flying everywhere and blood, not green blood and all that. But it's like this is what we do every day. Like I have to grab a taxi in Manhattan. The old and I have to jump in front of this old lady to do it. It's annoying, but that's just the way the things are. And I think that adds to the humor of it. The Flesh Tailor guy has a chance to be really funny because he really doesn't give a shit about whatever his circumstance is. He knows he's going to come out on top. He walks in as the bag of guts. He's invisible, has a bag of guts. He's in an urn, and then he's a bag of guts, and they get spilled on the floor. And then he just, oh, well, shit, that's no problem. I'll just take over this dead guy and walk out with you guys. Let's go have some coffee. I think he's got a chance to be a real unique, weird character.
John.
The only quick thing I had was, and I remembered, it was a comment that somebody brought up last week. So, and I'm just going to kind of reiterate that because the comment was that you had the V Warriors be taken down too quickly. And here you kind of still have that. So I don't know if you're... I feel like I don't know if they're supposed to be outmatched by the V Warriors. Are the V Warriors supposed to be like these unstoppable killing machines? Because, I mean, again, one person was pretty good at stopping it until it, unalived itself.
Yes.
But the other guy who had his fight scene, that got cut. And I remember one of the suggestions was that you should have two of them take on one V Warrior to show that it takes like more than one person to take it down. But instead, his entire fight scene got cut. But then they both end up dying in the explosion. And
Yes.
I mean, if they're all going to die anyway, unless the point of the scene is to show that they have self-destructo. I think I guess I'd like to know a little bit more about. Okay, so the power dynamics between the two characters still seems even. And I don't know if you still want to accomplish that, because I think if you're trying to show that it takes, that the V Warriors are stronger than the soldiers, then we need to see that, and we didn't see that. So if that is something that is supposed to be the case, then this is a good opportunity for us to see that. Even if it's just, maybe one of the V Warriors can eviscerate the one guy, and then the other one is eviscerating the second person, but right before she dies, she stabs him with her plasma knife, then dies. Then, because of his wound, he explodes. Then, because all of these people are dying anyway. So I would say, if you want to show a power imbalance, then have them die via power imbalance. And if you want to show them explode and self-destructo, then just have one of them get damaged during that fight to the point where he explodes, or save the whole instructo unaliving itself for a later scene.
Danny.
Okay, so I don't really have any notes on like the new stuff, but it occurs to me it would be a worthwhile exercise to go back and rewrite Agrippa based on the version of Agrippa that we've just seen at the end here.
Okay.
Because he's like, no, like for real, because like, fine, he starts off all blustery, but we can add elements of some of these character moments that we give him in that final dialogue scene to his actions earlier to set it up better and to sort of characterize these people before they die a bit better. And that's just going to make this even tighter when we get through it. So that's sort of that's really my main suggestion. Like, there's probably a bit to cut from that last dialogue scene, but I think just reviewing only Agrippa's lines and like his arc throughout this issue so far would be a way to sort of get us to a point where he can like do something very rash and perhaps incredibly self-destructive that's totally in character, by the end of this scene when he realizes, oh no, I'm letting this loose, or like whatever. So like maybe we can find a way to foreshadow that a little bit more.
Okay. We got through some scripts today. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.
Robert, we'll get to yours next week. I can't wait for more Ulysses. Ulysses and the Eco-Activists. It's going to be exciting.
There you go.
All right. See everybody next week. Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Sounds good.
Thank you all very much.